Chapter 1176. In a hall in the depths of the Blood Cloud Cave, Lu Kuan sat on the main seat. Next to him was Su Yao, the great cultivator of the Blood Beast sect. She looked calm. She brewed a pot of tea that was emitting dark red light and said carefully, "May I know why Senior Monster King has come to the Blood Beast sect? If I can help, I will not refuse." Lu Kuan glanced at the only remaining late nascent soul stage demonic cultivator of the Blood Beast sect and said slowly, "You called me Monster King. Do you know Lu?" Su Yao hurriedly said, "Junior wouldn't dare to claim to be friends with Senior. 2 months ago, Junior was in the 10,000 Blades mountain range and saw Senior's invincible might from afar. I remember Senior's heroic appearance. After hearing the descriptions from my junior brothers, I knew that Senior was a Monster King." Lu Kuan said in amazement, "The Blood Beast sect is indeed powerful. You can see the situation on the battlefield from afar without using your divine sense. No wonder Tu Lingzi could fight with a semi-god realm cultivator." Su Yao said in fear, "Senior Lu, Senior Brother Tu shouldn't have any conflict with Senior. Lu Kuan waved his hand and interrupted, "Don't worry. Lu is not here to find trouble with you. I just want to know something." Su Yao let out a slight sigh of relief and said with a respectful expression, "What questions does Senior have? If Junior knows, Junior will definitely tell you everything she knows." Lu Kuan's hand flashed, and a black jade jar appeared. There were many carvings of beasts on it, and dark red light flashed inside. "This is what Tu Lingzi left behind. It belongs to the Blood Beast sect, right?" Su Yao's eyes lit up and said, "It's the 1,000 Beast Altar. I thought old Demon Wu had taken it away. I didn't expect it to be in Senior's hands. So this thing is called the 1,000 Beast Altar." Lu Kuan looked pensive. Then he clenched his fist in the air. A dark red ball of energy gushed out from the black jar and landed on his broad palm. It exuded an evil and greedy aura. It kept squirming in his palm, as if it wanted to drill into his skin. However, this layer of skin was like some kind of hard defensive magic treasure, easily blocking it. When Su Yao saw the seemingly delicate demonic energy in Lu Kuan's hand, she couldn't help but be shocked. She was very clear about the characteristics of qi and blood magic. The other party did not take any protective measures at all, allowing the qi and blood magic to come into contact with his body without any damage. It was clear that the strength of his body had far exceeded the limit of qi and blood magic. Lu Kuan needed the mass of qi and blood magic and slowly said, "Lu wants to know how the Blood Beast sect cultivated so many qi and blood magic beasts, and how your cultivation technique controls the qi and blood magic." When Su Yao heard the other party mention the qi and blood magic, she couldn't help but show some surprise. The qi and blood magic had always been their most important secret. How did this Demon King know? The Blood Beast sect had the Oath Stone, so even a Demon King would find it difficult to search their soul. Inner disciples were only qualified to cultivate secret techniques related to the qi and blood magic when they reached the late core formation stage. In addition, the cultivation method of the qi and blood magic beasts was the foundation of the Blood Beast sect survival. These beasts were transformed from the flesh of demonic beasts. In the process, many high-level demonic beasts were fed. Every year, the Blood Beast sect would use various channels to go to the Five Dragon Sea to capture a large number of demonic beasts. If this Demon King in front of her knew about this, would he destroy the sect in anger? Seeing that Su Yao was silent for a long time, Lu Kuan seemed to understand something. He chuckled and said, "By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. Lu is the owner of the Body Refining Pavilion in the Southwest Cultivation World. I'm not a Demon King. I'm a genuine human cultivator. Fairy Su, you don't have to worry about anything." "What? Senior is a human?" Su Yao covered her mouth, and her eyes flashed with disbelief. Although she didn't see some details of the battle in the 10,000 Blades mountain range, the scene of the person in front of her transforming into a 5-meter-tall giant ape was still vivid in her mind. This person transformed into a 3-meter-tall giant, wielding a giant axe with his black-haired ape arm and breaking the forbidden formation of the Blood Beast sect. As far as she knew, this kind of powerful physical body and magical power of transformation could only be possessed by a demonic cultivator above the transformation stage. But this person said that he was a human. A human could cultivate the physical body to such a terrifying extent. Could it be that the Body Refining Pavilion was a sect that specialized in cultivating the physical body? Not to mention that it had a divine transformation cultivator and possessed such an unimaginable cultivation method. Even if it was in a remote place, it was impossible for it to be unknown. Su Yao was shocked. Suddenly, she thought of something and said with a respectful expression, "So Senior Lu is a human cultivator. Since Senior knows about the qi and blood magic, is your sect related to the body refining branch of the Yuan school?" Lu Kuan said softly, "You actually know the secret of the Yuan school? The body refining pavilion has nothing to do with the Yuan school, but Lu has some connections with the body refining branch." As far as Lu knows, one of the Hong brothers who led the body refining branch at that time failed to break through and died, and the other turned into a demonic zombie. This branch has long been lost. Are your qi and blood magic beasts developed by the other body refining disciples of the Yuan school? When Su Yao heard this sentence, she matched it with what she knew in her heart, and her expression became more respectful. It turns out that Senior Lu has some connections with the Yuan school. The founder of our Blood Beast sect was a disciple of the Yuan school and was responsible for rearing the demonic beasts. Lu Kuan's eyes revealed a look of surprise. Rearing demonic beasts? Rearing qi and blood magic beasts that failed in body refining? Were those secret techniques developed by your founder? Su Yao listened to Lu Kuan's series of questions, gritted her teeth, and an animal skin appeared in her hand. It flashed with a dark purple aura. She handed it over and said, "Senior Lu, this is my founder's handwritten letter. The answers that you want to find, including several secret techniques related to qi and blood magic beasts, are inside." Lu Kuan took the animal skin and glanced at it briefly. His pupils shrank, and he couldn't help but be immersed in it. The hall fell into silence for a while. Su Yao was sure that this person was definitely related to the body refining branch of the Yuan school. In the conversation just now, the Hong brothers, the products of failed body refining, and the founder's handwritten letter had a little mention. The purpose of this person coming to the Blood Beast sect was probably for the secret techniques related to qi and blood magic. This Senior Lu was an existence who had snatched the demonic dragon blade from the hands of several divine transformation realm cultivators. He was even able to activate this heavenly devil treasure. His strength was beyond imagination. In order to protect the sect and establish a good relationship with such a powerful expert, Su Yao could only give him the letter left behind by her ancestor. With the passage of time, the entire hall suddenly filled with an inexplicable pressure. Su Yao couldn't help but have goosebumps all over her body. It was as if her body had met its natural enemy. This feeling was even more frightening than when she activated her qi and blood magic. Lu Kuan's eyes were cold. He squeezed the handwritten letter in his hand, and there seemed to be a trace of anger in his expression. No wonder the qi and blood magic beasts in the magical beast garden and the demonic zombies in the devil refining cave showed signs of being eroded by the true demonic intent. It turned out that there was another group of people who used the disciples of the body refining branch to test their cultivation methods. Before Hong Yuntian's demonic zombie body fell into a deep sleep, he didn't come into contact with the water of the true demonic intent. However, the last time Yuan's secret realm opened, the demonic zombies in the devil refining cave were contaminated with the aura of the true demonic intent. In addition, the qi and blood magic beasts in the magical beast garden were also in a state of confusion. There was also a brutal intent in their souls. If it weren't for Lu Kuan's influence with the bloodline of the giant long-armed ape, he was afraid that those ape men wouldn't have been able to wake up. Lu Kuan had been brooding about this. He didn't expect to find the reason in the handwritten letter of the founder of the Blood Beast sect. Chapter 1177. As Su Yao had said, the founder of Blood Beast sect was a disciple of Yuan school named Han Jing. She and Hong Yuntian both recorded the events of Yuan school in the form of diaries, but the way they described the time was somewhat different. 100 years before Origin Shattering, the patriarch arranged for me to watch over some special magical beasts of her sect. But these creatures from the demonic realm have inherited the true demonic will deep in their blood. With my current attainments in demonic arts, demonic beasts below level 8 are still manageable, but demonic beasts above level 8 are simply difficult to tame. We can only use them as a reference in demonic arts. The high-level demonic beasts that I was looking after were all prepared to be refined into demonic essence pills. I have already given up on them. Besides, 100 years later, Yuan country will cease to exist. Why should I care about magical beasts? 98 years before Origin Shatter, Han Jing said, "Considering the power of the Han clan and my familiarity with demonic beasts, it took me 2 years to arrange for a demonic beast guard position. How mysterious. I wonder what demonic beast it is. How could there be such a strange magical beast? The body of the magical beast is mixed with the flesh of the human race. This kind of half-human, half-beast monster, was it experimented by the elders of our sect on human practitioners? 97 years before Origin Shattering, I carefully studied these magical beasts for a year and found that they are not native to the devil world. But their flesh is very similar to that of the devil world. The flesh of the human race is very compatible with the flesh of the magical beasts, as if they were born this way. But the devil dawn in their bodies are very different from those of ordinary magical beasts. They don't have the aura of the true devil intent, but they are full of extreme greed. Something is wrong. Most of the consciousness of the magical beasts has been sealed by our sect's soul-breaking technique. Why do the elders do this? Is it to erode their consciousness and make it easier to control them later? 95 years before Origin Shattering, new magical beasts have been sent here one after another. Strange, the disciples who escorted them are all from the Hong family. These people seem to have been ordered to keep their mouths shut and not reveal any information. I, Han Jing, can be considered as one of the top experts in the field of magical beasts, but how can I not know about this kind of large-scale magical beast research? The patriarch's order came. He wanted me to secretly transport some magic beasts to the magic pool. Could it be that there's something special about these magic beasts? 93 years before the Origin Shatterer era, the demonic beasts that the clan chief transported away were secretly returned. Even though they don't look any different on the surface, there's an additional hint of the will of the true demons within their bodies. I don't know what they did. Not only did the true devil will enter the devil core, it also flowed into the blood. Even the divine soul was somewhat contaminated. The soul severing technique seems to be loosening. Heavens, the divine soul inside is not the soul of a magical beast at all. They are the souls of demonic beasts and part of the human race. 90 years before the fragmentation period, a total of 3 years. Although the spirit of the magical beast was in a state of chaos most of the time, it could be communicated with through a special method. I didn't expect the rumors to be true. Over the past few hundred years, our sect has quietly developed a body refining faction. Our Han clan has been secretly researching demonic arts, while their Hong clan has been researching body refining techniques. This technique is called Profound Cloud Body Refining Technique. It uses the body of a demonic beast to quickly strengthen the body. It is said that the body refining faction has another path, which is to use the body of a demonic zombie. The core of these two techniques is a kind of strange energy called chi, blood, demonic power. This energy can not only strengthen the body, but also devour the flesh and blood of demonic beasts for one's own use. However, the risks involved are extremely great. These chi blood demonic beasts were formed when the disciples who practiced body refining technique failed to devour the demonic beast's flesh and blood. As a result, their flesh and blood essence were transferred to the demonic beast's flesh and blood. Not only the flesh and blood, but the divine soul of the disciples also entered the demonic beast's bodies and fused with their demonic souls. In fact, every chi blood demonic beast is actually a disciple of our Yuan school. The original intention of the Han clan should be to let the body-refining disciples continue to practice in the Devil Beast Garden, but somehow the elders of the sect planted the soul-severing technique on these demonic beasts and sealed their consciousness. In the 89 years before the fragmentation origin stage, all the Chi blood demonic beasts were transported by the Patriarch. Each of them has the true devil intent in their bodies. The seal of the soul-severing technique has been loosened, and I can hear the painful wails of countless divine souls. Many of the awakened demonic beasts have already chosen to commit suicide. If this continues, I am afraid that the Han clan will find out that the Patriarch is smuggling these demonic beasts. I have to go and explain this to the Patriarch. The Patriarch and the others have actually temporarily refined these Chi blood demonic beasts into demonic beasts. The sect has a strict rule that the metamorphosis devil mother-child technique cannot control the disciples of the same sect. Isn't this putting the Han clan to death? What? Cousin Han Ting has actually dug out the frenzy will from the depths of these demonic beasts' flesh and blood, demonic beasts' flesh and blood. If we can combine the frenzy will with the true devil intent, our human race can create a new kind of devil intent. It turns out that the elders of the sect have acquiesced to this. As long as Cousin Han Ting succeeds, the demonic cultivators of the human race can use the frenzy will to break through to the soul formation stage. Even in a place with dense devil chi, cultivators of the same level will be able to fight against devil kings. This discovery is even more significant than the body refinement technique. After all, the highest level of cultivators of the body refinement technique has yet to reach the nascent soul stage. 80 years before the fragmentation origin stage, I heard that Cousin Han Ting has already developed the frenzy will. She is already preparing to combine it and try to break through to the soul formation stage. The sect has already given up on the body refinement technique. According to the elders of the family, the disciples of the demonic zombie body refinement technique have also been tested by the Han clan. With the help of the demonic zombie body refinement technique, they can also break through to the soul formation stage. However, their divine souls are half human and half devil souls. When facing the devil kings of the devil race, they are not as powerful as human soul formation stage cultivators. Those demonic zombies have been sealed in the devil refinement cave, and the cloud body refinement technique, which is cultivated with the help of demonic beasts, has completely become the Han clan's test subjects. Damn it, why did I choose the clear heart technique back then? All these years, my mind has been haunted by the painful howls of the demonic beast souls. My cultivation is showing signs of regressing. The day of the fragmentation origin stage is getting closer and closer. If I don't solve the problem, I'm afraid it will be difficult for me to deal with the future with my nascent soul stage cultivation. Whoever started the trouble should end it. If I can eliminate the pain of the demonic beast souls, I should be able to solve the problem. I might even have a chance to master the clear heart technique and comprehend the true meaning. 75 years before the fragmentation origin stage, after all these years of research, the pain in the demonic beast souls mainly comes from two sources. The demonic beasts used to test the body refinement technique belong to the top bloodlines. Most of them have inherited the frenzy will. The demonic beasts that weren't tested by my cousin Han Ting were fine. After the test, the true devil will invaded the bloodline through the demonic energy of the demonic beast's blood and conflicted with the frenzy will. Although the two wills haven't manifested from time to time, the consciousness of the demonic beast will surge from the depths of the bloodline and disturb the mind. The greatest pain of the demonic beast's souls comes from this. The other source of pain is the demonic energy of the demonic beast's flesh and blood, which causes bone-chilling pain. But compared to the former, it's much less painful. No matter which one it is, the source of the pain is the demonic energy of the demonic beast's blood. 75 years before the fragmentation origin stage. How could this happen? I used the secret technique of the phantom mother-child technique to separate the demonic energy of the demonic beast souls from the demonic beast blood. Who would have thought that the demonic energy of the demonic beast souls couldn't sense the demonic energy of the demonic beast souls and devoured them completely? This is equivalent to me indirectly killing the disciples of my sect. Although the Oath Stone didn't react, the demonic beasts intensified and my cultivation regressed to the nascent soul stage. But if I don't separate the two, how can the souls be freed from the pain? Chapter 1178. Lu Kuan clenched the animal skin letter, his heart filled with endless anger. Although Yi Yuan's school's body refining lineage had not been successful, but it had been a great inspiration to him. Without the evil energy of blood and vitality, the disciples of the body refining pavilion would not be able to break through to the bone transformation stage. Lu Kuan held the Hong brothers in his heart. Seeing other people of Yi Yuan school using body refining disciples for experiments was equivalent to bullying the disciples of body refining pavilion. In Hong Yuntian's letter, there is a record of Han Ting. She perfected the phantom son and mother technique and created a secret method to use devil zombie subbodies to soak in the water of true devil. Humph! I didn't expect this woman to be so vicious. She used the disciples of the same school to study devil techniques. The devil zombies in the devil refining cave all have true devil intent. I'm afraid the Han family has already used them. Lu Kuan took a deep breath, suppressing the anger in his heart. The invisible fluctuation of his physical body's origin strength gradually disappeared as a thought flashed through his mind. Calculating the time, Yi Yuan's secret territory will open in a few decades. Hong Yuntian has survived for tens of thousands of years. He should still be alive. Although he has comprehended the source strength of his body, he has not truly entered the nascent soul stage. It is likely that because of the special environment of Yi Yuan's secret territory, he is unable to trigger the lightning tribulation. Last time I was not strong enough and could only protect myself. This time I have to find a way to rescue him. Lu Kuan made a decision in his heart. He composed himself and continued to look at the animal skin in his hand. 58 years before origin shattering. Through the information revealed by the souls of the devil beasts, I have a rough idea of how to cultivate the profound cloud body refining technique. It uses the phantom son and mother technique as the foundation to control the subbodies of the devil beasts and circulate their blood chi and devil energy. There are nearly 1,000 devil beasts in the devil beast garden. Even if I cultivate the phantom son and mother technique, it is impossible to refine so many subbodies. There's only one way to solve this problem, and that is to create a special consciousness to replace the soul and control the blood chi and devil energy. 55 years before origin shattering. I have just received a notice from the family that the day of origin shattering will be delayed by 10 years. The Grand Elder has thought of a way to perfect the origin-shattering array. The Grand Elder has strengthened the power of the Oath Stone. If the other sects know about this, I am afraid that they will join forces to threaten Yi Yuan school. Even with the protection of the array, the nascent soul is in danger in the face of the endless space storm. My current cultivation, I have to solve this problem before origin shattering. This secret technique condenses the essence of magical beast's flesh and blood together with a trace of soul power to form a kind of spiritual consciousness that is compatible with the magical beast body. This spiritual consciousness can control the magical power of chi and blood. This spiritual consciousness is called blood consciousness. Every magical beast needs to be refined into a blood consciousness. My spiritual consciousness is only at the early nascent soul stage, so I can control two at most at the same time. There are still 34 years left. There are nearly 1,000 magical beasts with chi and blood here. Origin shattering the secret technique. What are the people guarding the array doing? We have been abandoned by the sect. This is impossible. There are still 13 years before the day of origin shattering. Patriarch personally transmitted this message to me. It can't be wrong. Origin shattering the secret technique. Origin shattering the secret technique. According to the speculation of several senior brothers, The origin-shattering array is not perfect at all. Instead, a huge flaw has been discovered, and the number of people who can be taken away is extremely limited. The elders are too cruel. They removed all the major restrictions in the Oath Stone, leaving only a secret restriction. This is equivalent to driving us out of the sect. The secret realm is sealed by the dual 9 transformations array. Even the Demon King can't break it. We can only spend the rest of our lives here, Origin shattering the secret technique. 2 years after Origin shattering the Oath Stone's restriction, the senior brothers outside are all fighting for the Devil's Pool. I don't know where the rumor came from, but it says that once you enter the soul formation stage, you will automatically be teleported out. If it weren't for the Han family, I wouldn't have come to the magical beast garden, and I wouldn't have been plagued by inner demons. But in the end, I was abandoned by my family and the sect. I can't accept this. Soul formation. I want to enter the soul formation stage. Origin shattering the secret technique. Origin shattering the secret technique seems to be affected by my obsession. There are still 200 magical beasts with chi and blood left before my inner demons dissipated. The origin shattering the secret technique directly entered the realm of great success. If I can soak in the Devil's Pool, I will definitely have a chance to become a soul formation cultivator. Origin shattering the secret technique. Although the origin shattering the secret technique is a demonic technique created by the Grand Elder, it focuses on the cultivation of divine sense. Divine sense at great success in illumination can even resist the power of will. But my combat prowess is insufficient. I'm not a match for those guys. I have to improve my combat prowess. Oh right, chi and demonic energy. The 800 magical beasts have been relieved of their pain. Their divine sense is separated from their chi and demonic energy. Their demonic cores are sealed by blood consciousness. If I can borrow this power, origin shattering the secret technique. Chi and demonic energy is indeed useful. This energy can actually activate demonic artifacts. With the protection of my divine sense at great success in illumination, the demonic artifacts will can't affect me at all. Now you can give up the Devil's Pool. Origin shattering the secret technique. The demonic artifact's power is indeed terrifying. In this space filled with demonic essence, its power is not inferior to that of a divine spiritual treasure of the human race. Those guys are also powerful. If I hadn't created the spirit adhesion technique and fused chi and demonic energy into my body, turning me into a half-human, half-beast and increasing my physical strength to that of a 7th grade magical beast, I probably wouldn't have been able to withstand that attack so easily. Origin shattering the secret technique. I didn't expect the combination of clear mind technique and spirit adhesion technique to be able to resist the true demonic energy beyond my imagination. Coupled with the pure, true demonic water in the hands of those people, I barely managed to break through. The rumors are true. When I broke through to the divine transformation realm, I was directly teleported out. Unfortunately, I refined the demonic energy in the demonic area. After I left, my strength was only at the false divine transformation realm. Origin shattering the secret technique. Sigh, Yuan country has disappeared after all. All the major sects are looking for the secret behind the disappearance of Yuan sect. I have to conceal my identity. If those old guys find me, I won't be their match. Although the world has changed and the chi is chaotic, as long as my cultivation is strong enough, I can still break through the limits of the world. My understanding of chi and demonic beasts is definitely better than Cousin Han Ting. If I can find the fusion point of frenzy intent and true demonic intent from the chi and blood demonic beasts, I might be able to advance further by combining them in a frenzy demonic intent. There are some chi and blood demonic beasts in the spiritual beast pouch. However, there are not enough of them. I need to establish a sect to help me capture demonic beasts. The cultivation techniques of Yuan sect are restricted by the soul restriction spell. However, I created the blood will myself. With the help of this will, I can create a new cultivation technique 500 years after Origin shattering the secret technique. The space cracks in Yuan country have decreased greatly. We can enter now. I see. The situation that the elders faced after they broke through to the Origin-shattering realm was many times more tragic than the war against the demon race. They did not abandon us. Instead, they saved us. They wanted to leave behind hope and inheritance for the human race. 1,340 years after Origin shattering the secret technique, the Blood Beast Heart Sutra has been perfected. I have also found a new way to cultivate the chi and blood demonic beasts. However, after countless experiments, I still can't extract the frenzy intent. Forget it. My life is coming to an end. If the disciples of Blood Beast sect can enter the divine transformation realm, they can continue to explore the frenzy demonic intent. Remember, even if your cultivation has entered the middle divine transformation realm, you can't try to ascend. This letter is passed down by the great elder of our sect. Future disciples should not forget that the origin of Blood Beast sect is the Yuan sect. Chapter 1179. After reading the information in the letter, Lu Kuan connected a lot of things. There is no doubt that the place where the Blood Beast sect ancestor was trapped was the Yuan secret realm. Han Jing didn't separate all the chi and blood of the demonic beasts, but she got rid of her inner demon. Presumably, the remaining demonic beasts were the souls of the demonic beasts. The souls of the Yuan school disciples were freed. Lu Kuan was silent. He recalled the 8 demonic beasts. After they woke up, they didn't hesitate to commit suicide. The pain that the souls of these demonic beasts suffered was equally terrible. Han Jing's cloudy body refining art was very different from Hong Yuntong's original ambition. This isn't a technique to devour demonic beast subbodies. It can be cultivated to the peak of the core formation realm by purely relying on chi and blood. It just takes a long time. If Hong Yuntong's lifespan wasn't approaching its end, he wouldn't have reached that step. Later, his younger brother, Hong Yuntian, felt the speed at which the devil zombie body refining art devoured subbodies. That's why he gave the order for the cloudy body refining art to speed up cultivation by devouring subbodies. In order to break through the threshold of body refining, Hong Yuntian entered the devil refining cave to sleep. He probably didn't expect that the body refining lineage would become a testing tool for the demonic arts without a leader. And he slept like this for tens of thousands of years. Lu Kuan sighed softly. After a while, he looked at Su Yao and asked, "Fairy Su, the day of Yuan shattering mentioned by the founder of your sect, is it related to the disappearance of the Yuan school? It seems that the entire sect flew away." Su Yao secretly observed Lu Kuan's expression and found that he wasn't angry like before. She calmed down and said, "Senior Lu, I don't know what Yuan shattering refers to. But in addition to our sect, there are many sects that have been passed down since the end of ancient times. They have records of the day of Yuan shattering. According to the seniors of the Five Spirits Temple, the elders of the Yuan school used great magical power to complete the sect's ascension on that day." The sect's ascension. Lu Kuan murmured as shock flashed across his eyes. He was now considered one of the top high-level cultivators and knew some secrets. Since the end of the Antiquity Age, no soul formation cultivator had successfully ascended. However, the Yuan school was actually able to achieve such a feat. What kind of heaven-defying magical power was this? If it's really the whole sect ascending, then many things make sense. Hong Yuntian is probably in deep sleep to break through the bottleneck for the sake of the ascension quota. Lu Kuan came to a realization. From the handwritten letter, it could be seen that Han Jing's cultivation base was at the late Yuanying stage before the heart devil entered her body. Such a person was abandoned by the Yuan school and was not taken away. It could be seen that the number of people brought by the school was extremely limited. At that time, the strength of the Yuan school should have been above the ascension level. If they had concentrated their energy on the study of body refining, if Hong Yuntian had not been in a hurry to succeed, what a pity. In this world, there are no ifs. Lu Kuan was silent for a while and continued to ask, Your founder said in the handwritten letter that the danger faced by the elders of the Yuan school was far greater than the war of the demon race. Is there a more tragic war in the upper realm? Su Yao smiled bitterly and said, "This junior doesn't know." The founder only left this sentence in the handwritten letter and didn't say much. Lu Kuan didn't ask anything more. Things about the upper realm were still too far away. He shook his head and continued to look at the animal skin in his hand. The first half of this handwritten letter was part of the experience of the ancestor of Shueshou sect, Han Jing. The second half was the core cultivation method of Shueshou sect, Shueshou Heart Sutra, which included the method to cultivate qi and blood magical beasts, the magical effect of spiritual adhesion, and the secret technique to control qi and blood magical power. He read it attentively, and his eyes gradually revealed a look of realization. It turns out that the source of Shueshou sect's qi and blood magical beasts is the magical beast garden. Han Jing brought out a few qi and blood magical beasts from the magical beast garden and refined their qi and blood magical power into a mass of magical power. The magical beasts cultivated by Shueshou sect all relied on this magical power to devour and differentiate. Qi and blood magical power was like a virus in Lu Kuan's previous world. As long as there was a pathogen and a host, it could continuously spread, but the transmission was not strong. After all, it needed the cooperation of the host to strengthen the qi and blood magical power. Shueshou sect cultivated so many qi and blood magical beasts because Shueshou Heart Sutra and qi and blood magical power complement each other and cooperate with each other in cultivation. Lu Kuan showed a look of admiration. The Shueshou Heart Sutra refined by Han Jing was created by her nascent soul stage cultivation base and a secret technique. Limited by the prohibition of the oath, she couldn't inherit the Shueshou Heart Sutra, so she used this thought as the core and reverse-deduced Shueshou Heart Sutra. Starting from the foundation establishment stage, the disciples of Shueshou sect had to use their blood essence and soul as the foundation to condense a kind of spiritual embryo similar to Shueshou Heart Sutra and implant it into the body of a level 1 qi and blood magical beast for cultivation. On the one hand, they could use this embryo to cultivate qi and blood magical beasts. On the other hand, they could gradually strengthen this spiritual embryo by resisting the qi and blood magical power. As their cultivation base increased, the spiritual embryo became more and more mature. At the late core formation stage, they could control the qi and blood magical power of the foundation establishment stage. At the nascent soul stage of Shueshou Heart Sutra, they fused this Shueshou Heart Sutra with the magical power in the body to form a special nascent soul power, which was equivalent to using Shueshou Heart Sutra as an attribute of magical power. With this special magical power, the nascent soul stage elders of Shueshou sect could control qi and blood magical beasts above level 5 and continue to cultivate with the qi and blood magical power. As the qi and blood magical beasts were cultivated to the peak of level 7, the magical power of these nascent soul stage elders gradually increased, and the attribute of Shueshou Heart Sutra became more and more intense. At the late nascent soul stage, Shueshou Heart Sutra entered the realm of Deshang and could easily control the qi and blood magical power of the peak of level 7. It could add the essence of the magical beast's flesh and blood to the human's flesh and blood, turning into a half-human, half-beast state. This spirit adhesion technique was a wonderful magical power for immortal cultivators, but in Lu Kuan's view, it was a bit of a chicken rib. The essence of the magical beast's flesh and blood could only be attached to the muscles outside the human body. It could only enhance the external defense, and it could not have the physical power of a peak level 7 magical beast. Even if the force of more than 300,000 pounds was used, the fragile bones and internal organs in the body could not withstand such a recoil force. It was only equivalent to a flesh and blood armor that covered the whole body. After reading the entire Blood Beast Heart Sutra, Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with a trace of excitement. What is really helpful is the method of condensing this Shueshou Heart Sutra. Zhao Qing Tian, Sher Chao and Yu Xian failed to break through because their physical aptitude was too poor. In other words, the purity of their magical power and the quality of their bones could not suppress the evil high-level energy of qi and blood magical power. But if there was an attribute in the body that could suppress the qi and blood magical power, wouldn't the risk be greatly reduced? In the Blood Beast Heart Sutra, the Shuesho Heart Sutra was condensed from the soul, essence blood, and magical power. Disciples of the Bone Treasure stage could completely cultivate it. Tu Lingzi's weak body could use the power of the Shuesho Heart Sutra to resist the qi and blood magical power of the Peak Core Formation stage. If disciples of the body cultivation could integrate the Shuesho Heart Sutra into the Bone Treasure stage, how could the qi and blood magical power easily swallow their bones? A series of thoughts flashed through his mind. Lu Kuan took a deep breath and waved one hand. In addition to the 1,000-beast altar, there was also a black magic hammer and a bone claw in front of him. He said in a deep voice, "The Blood Beast Heart Sutra has some reference for Lu's cultivation method. I will return the 1,000-beast altar to you. As for the 2 magic weapons of Tu Lingzi, you can also take them, but you have to send me all the insights related to the condensing of the Shuesho Heart Sutra." Su Yao looked at the 2 weapons with deep auras and was quite excited. This kind of small and light magic weapon was very rare and suitable for the demon cultivators of the human clan. Each of them was very precious. For the Blood Beast sect, their value was even no less than the imitation spiritual treasures. She had already shown the Blood Beast Heart Sutra to Lu Kuan, so she didn't lack the cultivation insights. However, she felt a little strange. Why was this spirit-severing stage, senior, focused on the foundation establishment stage? Shouldn't he be focusing on the spirit-severing stage? As this thought flashed through her mind, a jade slip appeared in Su Yao's hand. She respectfully handed it over and said, "Senior, this is Junior's comprehension of the Blood Beast Heart Sutra. Please read it." Chapter 1180. As the battle in the 10,000 Blades Mountains ended, the weakened Saint Devil sect had already retreated from this blessed land filled with demonic aura. All of a sudden, the powerful demonic sects in the Yunlu state, and even the rogue cultivators, all rushed to the 10,000 Blades Mountains. More and more demonic cultivators saw that the core of the mountain range had collapsed. The horrifying aura left behind by the remnant origin energy caused all the nascent soul demonic cultivators to feel a chill run down their spines. They began to inquire about just what sort of terrifying battle had occurred here. In a market in the Yunlu state, a dozen demonic cultivators with strong auras sat in a pavilion on top of a mountain. They were drinking tea and chatting. These people had strong auras and were all above the nascent soul stage. The few demonic cultivators with the strongest demonic aura were the nascent soul rogue cultivators who had participated in the battle in the 10,000 Blades Mountains 2 months ago. Old Devil Xing Yun and the leader, Old Devil Xie, were among them. A young woman with a beautiful face and a curvy body covered her mouth and exclaimed, "I didn't expect so many divine transformation cultivators to appear. Luckily, I was in seclusion and didn't go. Otherwise, if I was involved, the consequences would be unimaginable." The one sitting opposite him was Xie Laowa. With some fear in his eyes, he said, "Luckily, I have a few life-saving spells. Although I was hit by the aftershock of the semi-god stage, I was not in danger." Brother Ma was fighting with the elders of the Saint Devil sect. In his carelessness, his physical body was destroyed. He could only escape with his nascent soul. I don't know if he has recovered yet. Hearing this, the young woman said with some sadness, "I have a good relationship with Brother Ma. I know that he has used the chance to take over his body. If he is only left with his nascent soul, I'm afraid he can only find a safe place to live the rest of his life." As she spoke, tears welled up in her bright eyes. It seemed that she was really sad for this rogue cultivator. At this time, a young man who was also at the middle nascent soul stage said, "Old Devil Xie, even the consciousness of a great cultivator can't observe the battle of a divine transformation cultivator. How do you know the details of the battle so clearly?" The withered old man smiled and said, During the war, there were some fellow Taoists who cultivated spirit and divine abilities. However, most of the details of the battle came from the Blood Beast sect. The young man nodded slightly, and a strange look flashed in his eyes. He said, however, in the battle between several divine transformation realm seniors, the ape demon king was actually more skillful and took the demon dragon blade. This result is quite surprising. When did the demon clan have such a terrifying existence? Moreover, as far as I know, the demonic beasts on land have already declined, and the outer sea is ruled by the sea race. That place is filled with sea beasts that possess the bloodline of true dragons. Where did this ape king come from? When the surrounding demonic Dao rogue cultivators heard this, they also revealed a bit of doubt. The land of the great Zhou dynasty was dominated by human cultivators. Only the 5 dragon seas to the west of the West Sea Prefecture had a large number of demon beasts living there. Almost all of them were members of a sea clan. He had never heard of any powerful demon ape race. At that moment, old demon Xing Yun, who had been silent all this while, lifted his head and looked at everyone's expressions. Suddenly, he said, "You are all wrong. That black ape demon is not a demon. It is a human semi-god realm senior." Human semi-god realm? No way. How can a human transform into a 50-foot giant ape? Xing Yun, where did you get the information? Old demon Xing Yun said slowly. Not long ago, a good friend of mine from the Shadow Pavilion revealed the origin of this alien god. This information has been sold in the Shadow Pavilion. It should be true. Hearing this, everyone was stunned. Since the information was related to the Shadow Pavilion, it was highly credible. The pavilion quieted down for a moment. After a while, old demon Xie said with a serious expression, "Old demon Xing Yun, if he is a human, then which sect is he from?" Yes, if there is one more semi-god realm cultivator in the great Zhou dynasty, there will be a phenomenon in the world. It is impossible that we don't know about it. Could he be from another cultivation region? Old demon Xing Yun put away the jade pendant in his hand and took a sip of the spirit tea in front of him. He said, "I don't know much. According to the information from the Shadow Pavilion, that strange human semi-god realm cultivator is from the Southwest Cultivation Realm." Southwest Cultivation Realm? He must be a semi-god realm demonic cultivator since he can control the demonic primordial chi. Is he from the blood refining clan of the Chi Kingdom? Blood refining clan. I know. He is Pang Chi Tian, old demon Pang. Hearing about the Southwest Cultivation Realm, the image of a giant of the demonic path immediately appeared in the minds of the demonic path rogue cultivators. Fear appeared in their eyes, as if they were afraid of the name Pang Chi Tian. Of course, old demon Xing Yun knew about old demon Pang from the blood refining clan. He shook his head and said, "You are wrong. Now, there's an even more powerful sect in the Southwest Cultivation Realm. It is called the Body Refining Pavilion. This human semi-god realm cultivator is the owner of the Body Refining Pavilion, Lu Kuan." Everyone was stunned. Body Refining Pavilion? What kind of sect is that? I have never heard of it. Body refining? Is their main cultivation method to refine their physical body? Many of these rogue cultivators had traveled to the kingdom of Qi, but they had never heard of the Body Refining Pavilion. Old demon Xing Yun thought about the information in the jade pendant just now. His eyes flashed with surprise. It is said that the Body Refining Pavilion is a hidden sect. It just appeared more than 200 years ago. Its main cultivation method is a body refining method that has never appeared in the cultivation realm. It can refine one's physical body to an unimaginable level, even surpassing that of the demon race. Everyone was excited when they heard that. I can't believe there is such a method in the world. Surpassing that of the demon race. Could it be that Master Lu's transformation into a 5-foot-tall giant ape was a body refining method? Everyone present was an old monster who had lived for hundreds of years. They had seen all kinds of strange secret arts, but they had never heard of a miraculous method to refine one's physical body. Some of them even had a strange glow in their eyes. Seeing everyone's expressions, old demon Xingyun revealed a mocking expression and said, "A sect with a divine transformation realm cultivator in charge, and you guys are actually greedy. Do you know why the owner of the body refining pavilion came to the kingdom of Qi?" Without waiting for others to reply, he said with a cold smile, "Because the Supreme Mystery Sect and the Saint Devil Sect coveted the body refining pavilion's cultivation method. The nascent soul elders they sent to the southwest were all killed by the body refining pavilion. A few months ago, there was a rumor that the body refining pavilion killed many elders of the Supreme Mystery Sect. Even several resource points in the territory of the Supreme Mystery Sect were destroyed by that Master Lu. Senior Gu of the Supreme Mystery Sect came to the 10,000 Blades mountain range to track down Master Lu. Unfortunately, even if he joined forces with old Demon Wu of the Prime Devil Sect, they still couldn't do anything to this expert. Of the two sects that coveted the body refining technique, one is almost half destroyed, and the other is relying on a soul formation cultivator. They barely manage to preserve their vitality, but if they want to recover to their peak strength, it will take at least a few hundred years. If you want the body refining technique, think about it yourselves. Hiss. Hearing old demon Xingyun's words, everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. The greed in their eyes disappeared, replaced by endless fear. So the Supreme Mystery Sect and the Saint Devil Sect were destroyed by the body refining pavilion. That's too cruel. If this Master Lu can defeat two soul formation cultivators, doesn't that mean that the body refining pavilion strength is comparable to the Five Spirits Temple? After old demon Xingyun said this, he put down the teacup in his hand and said, "That's all I know. You can go to the Shadow Pavilion to buy more information. I have to prepare for the Broken Nation in 100 years, so I won't be participating in the fight for the 10,000 Blades mountain range. Goodbye." With that, old demon Xingyun turned into a ray of light and flew out of the pavilion. The other devil, Dao, itinerant cultivators all had different expressions. After chatting for a while, they all left. The Shadow Pavilion wasn't stationed in this market. So many people wanted to buy information about this Master Lu. Naturally, they weren't greedy. If they coveted the body refining technique, their sects would be destroyed. Who would dare to offend such an arrogant sect? They wanted to know more about it, because they were afraid that they would accidentally offend the disciples of the body refining pavilion in the future. Chapter 1181. Ancient Spirit State. In a secret chamber deep within the Prime Devil Sect, Wu Wenxuan, a soul formation cultivator, sat cross-legged on a dark purple jade bed. He rubbed a jade talisman in his hand and looked at the dimming spiritual light on it. A strange light flashed in his eyes. He muttered, "The two old fellows from the Five Spirits Temple asked about Master Lu. It seems that the rumors outside have alarmed them. This unprecedented body-tempering technique alone is enough to arouse the interest of soul formation cultivators." Recalling the previous battle, Wu Wenxuan revealed a somewhat fearful expression. This Master Lu didn't reveal any spirit aura or willpower during the battle. Although I can't see his exact cultivation, with the Demon Dragon Blade in hand, his explosive power is no less than that of a real soul formation cultivator. With such strength, those two old fellows definitely won't risk going to the Southwest cultivation world. But 100 years later, in the Broken Nation, it's hard to say. Wu Wenxuan's expression was somewhat expectant. Then, he thought of something, and his expression changed. Pavilion Master Lu has been hiding at the foot of the mountain during the previous battle. I don't know what kind of secret technique he used, but now that he has the demonic dragon blade, won't he be able to hide nearby and use the power of the demonic dragon blade? That's right, Wu Wenxuan's hands flashed, and a purple-black ball of spiritual light gushed out of his dantian, emitting a strong sense of brutality. He carefully sensed it, and his eyes narrowed slightly. If not for Lu Kuan's intervention, part of my essence spirit would have merged with the Demon Dragon Blade's devil spirit. Now, not only did I lose a part of my essence spirit, but I also failed to get the Demon Dragon Blade. Wu Wenxuan thought for a moment. The true essence in his body surged, and the ball of essence spirit light trembled slightly. He sensed it for a while, and a thoughtful expression appeared on his face. This bit of essence spirit power has completely merged with the killing intent. Even if I can't control the demon dragon blade, I can still sense its location. It seems that this Master Lu has returned to the southwest cultivation world. Wu Wenxuan thought. Gu Deming said that the other party has the ability to obliterate one's primordial spirit. However, if he wants to obliterate this strand of soul, the Devil Dragon Blade's devil spirit will also dissipate. Without this special devil spirit, the Devil Dragon Blade is not even comparable to an ordinary devil weapon. Let's not talk about whether Lu Kuan can sense it or not. Even if he does, unless he abandons this treasure, it's impossible for him to wear down this strand of essence spirit. That's good as well. I can sense Master Lu's location. The loss of my essence soul is worth it. If he wants to launch a sneak attack, I'll be able to sense it in time. Wu Wenxuan stood up and waved his sleeve. The jade bed disappeared, and the floor tiles below disappeared like bubbles, revealing a round pool of water buried in the ground. This pool of water had a diameter of nearly 3 meters, and it was filled with black liquid. It exuded an extremely dense devil chi and true devil intent aura. Several seals flashed, and an 8-foot-tall devil body slowly emerged from the rippling true devil water. Its body was densely covered with purple scales, and its joints had bone spurs. There was a large hole in the center of the devil corpse's chest. One could even see the traces of its broken sternum. However, there was nothing underneath the wound. Wu Wenxuan walked forward and looked at the devil corpse. He muttered, "The internal organs of the devil race are very compatible with the cruel intent. An avatar refined with it, as the main material, has control over devil yuan chi no less than the main body. The devil organ avatar has been swallowed by the devil dragon blade. The remaining body can be refined into a protective treasure. If activated with true essence, its defensive power will not be inferior to a devil king." While thinking, the storage bracelet on Wu Wenxuan's wrist flickered slightly. A pile of materials of various colors appeared on the ground. Any one of them would be a treasure that devil cultivators would fight over in the outside world. The westernmost part of the Great Zhou dynasty was the West Sea State. It was adjacent to the Great Yuan State. To the west was the vast Five Dragon Sea. To the north was the Broken Country. To the south was the long and narrow Ningxue State. Although the West Sea State was extremely vast, except for some small Buddhist temples, there was only one sect. It was the number one immortal sect in the Great Zhou dynasty, the Five Spirits Temple. The Five Spirits Temple had a long history. Even in ancient times, it was extremely powerful. Although it was far inferior to the Yi Yuan school, it was ranked in the top 3 among other sections. After the Great War of the Devil Race, although the world had changed, the Five Spirits Temple had never lost 2 spirit severing stage cultivators. It was said that 40,000 years ago, there were even 3 spirit severing stage elders in this sect. In the center of the West Sea State, there is a strange mountain range surrounded by 5 towering peaks that were almost the same. Each peak was surrounded by a unique 5-colored light, exuding the 5 pure spirit chis of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. Among them, the red and blue peaks were especially dazzling, far surpassing the other 3. This was the holy land of the Five Spirits Temple. Only spirit severing stage elders were qualified to live in the 5 colors peak. On this day, 2 old men stood side by side at the top of a mountain that was flashing with icy blue light. One of them was tall and had fiery red hair, while the other was as short as a child with blue hair and beard. They were the current spirit severing stage elders of the Five Spirits Temple. The tall elder with red hair was called the Fire Spirit Venerable, and the short elder with blue hair was called the Ice Spirit Venerable. Both of them looked far into the east. There was a faintly discernible golden light that was gradually disappearing into the horizon. After a while, the Fire Spirit Venerable said with a somewhat inexplicable expression, "Junior brother, what do you think of Monk Ji Yuan's request?" The Ice Spirit Venerable said, "Isn't it just to increase the number of people in the ancient battlefield? we can refine a few more 5 spirits plates. However, I am very curious about this Master Lu. Wu Wenxuan, Gut Deming, and Ji Yuan have all described Master Lu's divine abilities in detail. This person's physical body can withstand the power of spirit severing stage. His explosive speed is astonishing. It is suspected that he has not entered the spirit severing stage. However, with the help of the demonic weapon, he can fight with a false spirit severing stage expert. Most importantly, this person can activate the demonic dragon blade. This is a divine demon treasure refined by the Saint Demon King. The strongest power it can unleash is no less than a divine spiritual treasure used by an orthodox spirit severing stage expert. It is extremely terrifying. The fire spirit Venerable pondered for a moment and said slowly, to be able to activate the demonic dragon blade, this body refining technique is probably also a type of demonic skill. There are ancient records in the sect that say that the Yuan sect once had a body refining technique. Could it be that the body refining pavilion was passed down from the Yuan sect? The Ice Spirit Venerable said, "It is very likely so. However, I do not care if his physical body is strong or not." However, after Lu Kuan transformed into the demonic ape, he seemed to have displayed a special primordial spirit power. It even surpassed Wu Wenxuan's control of spirit, severing stage demonic chi. This person came from the southwest immortal world. He has such terrifying strength in a foreign land. This means that his primordial spirit power is no different from a real spirit severing stage expert. According to Gu Deming, Lu Kuan can also activate spirit severing stage demonic chi. It is clear that this primordial spirit power is miraculous. It is far beyond our imagination. After all, the ancient spirit severing stage cultivators did not have such control of spirit severing stage expert, let alone 2 types of spirit severing stage. In the beginning, the Yuan sect studied the demonic arts with all their efforts. Their purpose was to create a primordial spirit power that is comparable to the Demon King. Could it be that their body refining sect has achieved this? The fire spirit Venerable's eyes flashed. We have consumed the Huanyang primordial water. We still have more than 1,000 years of life left. If we obtain this cultivation method, we may be able to comprehend a new primordial spirit power. As long as we enter the early spirit severing stage, you and I can use the 5 spirits great technique to barely possess the magic of the middle spirit severing stage. There is a high chance that we can pass through the space crack and enter the upper world. The Ice Spirit Venerable heard this and frowned slightly. But senior brother, the situation in the upper world, the Fire Spirit Venerable said in a deep voice, "Junior brother, are you willing to be stuck in the pseudo-spirit severing stage for the rest of your life? If we enter the upper world, at least we will have a chance to enter the legendary void refining stage. The future is limitless." The Ice Spirit Venerable clenched his fists and his eyes flashed with unwillingness. He took a deep breath and said, "If that is the case, then we have to plan for the long term. After all, this Master Lu's magic power is not small. It is fine if we can use treasures to exchange for it. If he is unwilling to cooperate, then we have to prepare for the worst." The Fire Spirit Venerable pondered for a while and said, "There is no hurry. In 100 years, we will meet Master Lu in the Broken Kingdom. Before that, we have to understand the specific strength of the body refining pavilion. This person has the Demon Dragon Blade. If we join forces, we will not be afraid. However, if the body refining pavilion has other experts of the same level, then it will be troublesome." The Ice Spirit Venerable nodded and said, "Senior brother is right. I will arrange for people to investigate." Chapter 1182. Wei State, Yunling Mountain Range. In the main hall of the body refining pavilion, Lu Kuan sat in the main seat. There were many people sitting below him, including Yu Longfei, Feng Yuan, Huang Xiaoyun, and Pan Yan. There was also Qin Yushu. He had entered the early stage of the nascent soul realm and had become the deputy pavilion master of the body refining pavilion. Lu Kuan was talking about his experience in the state of Zhou. In the end, he said with a relaxed expression, After what I did, there shouldn't be any sex in the state of Zhou who would dare to have designs on the body refining pavilion. Before returning to the state of Wei, he deliberately leaked some information about the body refining pavilion through the Shadow Pavilion, Su Yao of the Blood Beast sect, and old demon Xingyan. Although the body refining technique was very tempting, the immortal cultivation world also knew about the terrifying strength of the body refining pavilion master. After listening to Lu Kuan's story, everyone was shocked. They only knew that their pavilion master's combat strength was terrifying, but they didn't expect that he could fight with a soul formation cultivator. The soul formation cultivator was the most powerful existence in this world. These people were even more shocked than the immortal cultivators of the state of Zhou. Others didn't know, but they knew that Lu Kuan was only at the middle stage of the bone transformation realm. If he could fight with a soul formation cultivator in a short time, what would happen when he entered the late stage? After a while, Yulongfei came back to his senses and said, although the Pavilion Master's name is a deterrent, in the face of such a strange and powerful sect, the top sects of the state of Zhou will definitely send out spies. Just like the state of Chu, we have to be vigilant. Lu Kuan thought for a while and said, the body refining pavilion is protected by the Mountain of Vows. It's difficult to investigate the situation inside the pavilion. Instead of secretly guarding, it's better to open the door to the southwest. The Tongtian River is the border between the two countries. Due to the existence of the space cracks and the zephyr wind, it is difficult for cultivators without strength to pass through. The treasure pavilion can try to build a large spirit boat for transportation and take the initiative to connect with the Great Zhou dynasty. He looked at Qin Yushu and said, Yushu, I'll have to trouble you to contact the two great demon sects in the Qi Kingdom and have them build a city for the Chamber of Commerce in the northern region, as well as a ferry port. Immortal cultivators of the Great Zhou dynasty not only have to pay spirit stones to use our spirit boats to cross the river, but they also have to register. Hearing this, Qin Yushu's eyes lit up and he said, Pavilion Master is wise. This way, not only will we be able to earn Great Zhou spirit stones, we will also be able to receive news of the Great Zhou Empire as soon as possible. Lu Kuan looked at Yulongfei and said, Brother Yu, I'll have to trouble you to go to the Qi Empire with Yushu. With your protection, the Blood Refining sect and the Yinyang sect won't dare to play any tricks. Yulongfei replied, Yes, Pavilion Master. If it were other late-stage nascent soul cultivators, they might not be willing to do such a job. However, Yulongfei was different. Without Lu Kuan's help, it would not be so easy for him to enter the great cultivator realm. Moreover, the Pavilion Master had given him the Dark Azure Ruler. With such a powerful treasure, his strength had increased by several folds. In addition, Lu Kuan had the explosive power of a soul formation cultivator. Yulongfei was in awe of him. Go and get ready. After the two of them left, Lu Kuan looked at Fairy Fong Yuan and asked, How's the progress of Xiong-Shan's half-demon technique? Fairy Fong Yuan said, He's currently in seclusion. I don't know the details yet, but before he went into seclusion, he seemed to be very confident. Lu Kuan pondered for a moment. Then, a spiritual light flashed in his hand and a jade slip appeared. He threw it over. Fairy Fong Yuan caught it in her hand and scanned it with her divine sense. She murmured, Blood and blood demonic beast cultivation technique. Lu Kuan said, This secret technique was created by the disciples of the ancient Yuan sect. It has a deep understanding of all kinds of demonic beasts, including blood vessels, internal organs, muscles, and demonic bones. Our research on a half-demon body is through the exchange of bones between humans and demonic beasts. This jade slip has great reference value. Make a copy and give it to Xiong-Shan. Fong Yuan said hesitantly, Pavilion Master, it seems to mention blood and demonic power. Is it the evil energy in the body, refining art? Xiong-Shan is still in the bone-tempering stage. If he comes into contact with blood and demonic power now, Lu Kuan waved his hand and said, Don't worry. There's no cultivation method of blood and demonic power in it. It's fine to give it to him. Yes, Pavilion Master. Hearing this, Fong Yuan nodded and kept the jade slip. Lu Kuan continued. By the way, although the southwest immortal cultivation area is open, we have to be more careful in the Wei Nation. From now on, arrange for the nascent soul elders of the Spirit Pavilion to take turns patrolling the territory. If there are any unfamiliar cultivators who have sneaked into the Wei Nation, take them down immediately. If you encounter a great cultivator or above, or if the situation is special, report to me. Fairy Fong Yuan said respectfully. Okay, I'll arrange it now. With that, she bowed and left the hall. Lu Kuan looked at the remaining 2 disciples in the hall and said slowly, I have a difficult task for you. Huang Xiaoyun and Pan Yin looked serious. Release your divine sense. As he spoke, Lu Kuan's nascent soul late-stage divine sense came out of his body. 2 wonderful cultivation methods were transmitted into the minds of the 2 disciples. After less than an hour, the 2 bone transformation early-stage body cultivators opened their eyes. There was some excitement in their expressions. Pan Yin couldn't help but ask, Master, can this blood thought really suppress blood and demonic power? Lu Kuan said with certainty, late-stage nascent soul demonic cultivators have weak bodies, but they can use this power to control blood and demonic power. They can add it to their flesh and blood and prevent it from being devoured. If a body cultivator cultivates the blood thought, their ability to suppress blood and demonic power will only be stronger. He paused and asked, You know the first obstacle to breaking through to the bone transformation stage, right? Huang Xiaoyan nodded and said, Yes, this obstacle is to refine one's own body and generate the origin power of the flesh. The biggest obstacle is how to resist the devouring of blood and demonic power. Lu Kuan sighed softly and said, The energy level of blood and demonic power is extremely high. It is even higher than the spiritual power of the immortal cultivators. From the 3 of our successful breakthroughs, there are 2 ways to resist its devouring. One is to rely on spiritual power that is stronger than blood and demonic power. Little Yun, your demonic gold spiritual power and my 5 elements chaotic spiritual power are both this kind of energy. The other method is to rely on the defense of the bones themselves. Pan Yan's bones are amazingly strong. My bones that have been integrated with silver dragon meteorite iron are also the same. The blood and demonic power are difficult to devour. But these 2 methods are not suitable for ordinary body cultivators. The first obstacle to breaking through to the bone transformation stage already stopped Qing Tian and the other 2. Lu Kuan thought of the 3 fallen disciples. His eyes flashed with pain, and he muttered, But with the blood thought, it is different. What I just passed on to you is the original Blood Beast Heart Sutra. The other is a modified blood thought condensation technique that is suitable for body cultivators on the way back. When a body cultivator with a large success bone treasure cultivator cultivates blood and demonic power, they begin to condense a blood thought embryo. As the blood and demonic power gradually devours the essence of the flesh, the blood thought embryo gradually strengthens. Finally, with the condensation method of the body cultivator's body imprint, it is injected into the bones, so that the bone treasure has the blood thought attribute. With the help of this special attribute, the risk of the first obstacle is reduced by a lot. Lu Kuan looked at the 2 early bone transformation disciples and said in a deep voice, This secret method, although I modified it based on the experience of the body refinement technique, the actual effect is unknown. Next, I will go into seclusion to cultivate and seize the time to improve my cultivation. I will leave the perfection of this secret method to you. If necessary, you can arrange for the body cultivator disciples to cultivate and observe. Huang Xiaoyun and Pan Yan's minds echoed this secret method. Their eyes flashed with excitement. Yes, Master. Chapter 1183. After Huang Xiaoyun and Pan Yin left, Lu Kuan was the only one left in the hall. He stood there quietly, his expression heavy. Although he had made a name for himself in the Great Zhou dynasty, there was still a great deal of pressure in his heart. The body refining pavilion only had 3 bone transformation stage cultivators, including him. Their foundation was too shallow. Only when there were double digits of bone transformation stage cultivators would their body refining faction truly rise. If I modify the blood will secret technique, it shouldn't be a big problem. Next is the second obstacle, the heavenly thunder tribulation. Lu Kuan's heart was heavy. The heavenly thunder tribulation of a body cultivator is closely related to the body's aptitude. The stronger the body, the more shocking the power of the heavenly thunder tribulation. However, the range of the body's source strength is wider, and one can use stronger battle skills to resist it. This depends on each person's comprehension of battle skills, as well as their ability to adapt on the spot. There's no way to interfere too much. His eyes flashed with worry. These years, Xiao Jin has been constantly refining his bloodline and strengthening his bones. With the help of the blood will, the first obstacle won't be a problem. But the heavenly thunder tribulation, it's hard to say. This little guy has a 9-star physique like me, and he's also a monster beast. It's very likely that he will encounter the terrifying 9-stage heavenly tribulation. Without thunder resistance and a strong skeleton, the risk is extremely high. Lu Kuan paced back and forth in the hall, an idea gradually forming in his mind. A simple jade pendant appeared in his hand. He whispered a few words, and a moment later, there was a happy squeaking sound from the other side. He muttered, "Only with this arrangement will Xiao Jin have a better chance of surviving the heavenly tribulation. Those disciples also need to experience it. I hope that more body cultivators can successfully break through to the bone transformation stage." Lu Kuan was silent for a moment, thinking back to his trip to the Great Zhou dynasty. The harvest this time is great. There are all kinds of secret techniques, top-grade spirit stones, and even the demon dragon blade. Whether it's the derivation of body refining techniques or the development of battle treasures, there are too many things to do. However, the most important thing right now is to quickly increase my cultivation and rush into the late bone transformation realm before the Shattered Nation. Only then will I be able to deal with more unforeseen events. In the ancient battlefield of the Shattered Nation, a true demon race will appear. This is an excellent opportunity. Perhaps I can obtain some inspiration from the Demon King's divine abilities. Thinking of this, his figure flashed and left the main hall, flying out of the mountain gate. Between the mountain gate and the demonic abyss, there was a small valley. The outside of the valley was shrouded in the spiritual light of the Forbidden Formation. Lu Kuan landed in front of the valley, and a token appeared in his hand. A mysterious fluctuation flashed, and a small opening appeared in the Array Formation's light screen. He slowly walked in. In the small valley, there was a small black mountain that was around 100 feet tall. Its surface was shrouded in a layer of pale yellow mist, and it faintly emitted a frantic aura. This was the body refining pavilion's mountain of vows. Lu Kuan looked at this small mountain and sighed his heart. The spirit demon king's divine soul was equivalent to the late spirit severing realm. The extended restriction of the oath was probably unbreakable in this world. With the protection of such a powerful restriction, even the lowest disciple of the body refining pavilion would not be able to soul search the key information. After the baptism of many different kinds of wills, the vitality of my internal organs has reached 80%. I only need 2 kinds of wills to reach 100%, which greatly reduces the cultivation time of the life force. Lu Kuan took 2 steps forward, opened his mouth slightly, and spat out a ball of silver essence blood. It sank into the black mountain, and soon condensed into a strong, frantic aura that returned to his body. He bowed towards the small black mountain, and then left this place, returning to the Devil Abyss Cavern. Serene was cultivating in the Rong Yuan Demon Cave. Her skin looked more lustrous, and even had a ruddy color. She looked more like a human, and the coldine energy in her body was purer than before. Every time Lu Kuan refined his internal organs, the remaining pure spiritual energy would be refined by Serene. This silver-armored corpse's sensitivity to demon chi and spiritual chi was no less than that of a talented cultivator. Lu Kuan walked to Sir Ener and sat down cross-legged. Ener, the frantic aura has merged into your internal organs. Let's start casting. Sir Ener nodded slightly, and her mouth opened slightly. The dark spirit crystal floated between them. Next, the two skillfully guided the pure spiritual energy to refine their internal organs. Not long after, Lu Kuan suddenly opened his eyes. The muscles on his arms suddenly bulged, and in the blink of an eye, they had doubled in size, as if they were two giant arms that could hold up the sky. He actually used the connecting arms theurgy, but this theurgy disappeared when he entered the middle stage of bone transformation, and his flesh and blood completely merged. What's going on? Lu Kuan's eyes were full of astonishment. Just now, he felt that under the pressure of the pure spiritual energy, the frantic aura did not escape from his internal organs. Instead, it merged into his blood in a strange way. Then a special energy emerged from his internal organs and rushed directly into his arms. He was very familiar with this energy. It was the bloodline power of the giant long-armed ape. The frantic aura can merge into the blood and temporarily produce bloodline power. Recalling the situation in his internal organs just now, Lu Kuan's expression became strange. He murmured, "When I refined the mountain of vows, I used the frantic aura to display the golden light divine eye. Now it seems that the remaining frantic aura is likely to have entered the bloodline. I was at the early stage of bone transformation, and my flesh and blood couldn't merge. The connecting arms theurgy was still there, so I didn't notice it. The frantic aura and the bloodline of the giant long-armed ape." Lu Kuan connected many things in his mind. That level 10 peak demon turtle dug out the frantic aura from the bloodline and merged with it to try to break through to Demon King. The Blood Beast sex letter also said that Han Ting found the frantic aura from the top demon beast bloodline. The lost connecting arms theurgy was activated because of the transformation of the frantic aura. This means that the giant long-armed ape's innate theurgy relies on the frantic aura inherited from the depths of its bloodline. If this is the case, the innate theurgy of top demon beasts is probably related to the frantic aura in their bloodline. The reason why the giant long-armed ape can have such terrifying physical strength is because of its bloodline theurgy. It focuses on the transformation of will energy into the body. Under imperceptible influence, the body far surpasses that of other demon beasts. Lu Kuan thought of the devil-ape transformation theurgy. The giant psychic arm borrowed the frantic aura to increase the body's strength by 50%, and the devil-ape transformation theurgy was strengthened by the true demon aura. The two combined through the operation of the bloodline theurgy and spread throughout the body, temporarily strengthening the body's cells and doubling the strength. He recalled the process of using the devil-ape transformation many times in his mind. Combined with the discovery of the frantic aura, he gradually understood. From this point of view, the power of will is a kind of temporary strengthening energy for the body. For mortals, will can also affect the strength of the body. When they are angry, the secretion of hormones in the body will increase, and the blood will flow faster. In other words, when the power of qi in blood is exhausted, it will lead to an increase in strength. But for body cultivators like us, after entering the blood condensation stage, some of the hormones in the body will be able to self-adjust. The power of qi and blood can be controlled at will, and any attack can be used to the fullest. For high-level body cultivators, will can affect the strength of the body in another way. Lu Kuan fell into deep thought. As his cultivation level increased, he came into contact with more and more power of will. Especially after activating the 1 Yuan force, he had a lot of thoughts about all kinds of will. His previous speculation about body refinement and soul refinement was to comprehend will and combine it with the internal organs to break through the limit and reach the 1 Yuan force, entering the body refinement and soul refinement realm. But now, the relationship between the frantic aura and the bloodline theurgy gave him a new idea. My current 1 Yuan force is all from the devil-ape transformation. It's the power of will. It's not the real strength of the body. In other words, the power of will is not a prerequisite for body refinement and soul refinement. I can treat it as a theurgy. Even if I don't comprehend will, as long as my body reaches 2 million pounds, I can control Yuan Qi. His thoughts gradually became clear. If that's the case, I'll simplify it and divide the cultivation into body and soul. When my physical strength reaches 2 million pounds and I have the 1 yuan force, I can enter the body refinement and soul refinement realm. My control of demonic spirit Yuan Qi will be stronger than those pseudo-soul refinement cultivators. In other words, the 1 yuan force corresponds to the primordial spirit of a traditional cultivator. At present, the cultivation method of body and soul only involves the spinal cord of the central nervous system. The brain is not involved. If it is gradually perfected, the ultimate goal is to comprehend the power of will. If I achieve the power of will, I can use the internal organs as a furnace and find a method similar to the bloodline theurgy. I can spread the power of will throughout the body and temporarily strengthen the body. If I analyze it this way, the power of will is indispensable for traditional soul refinement cultivators. But for body refinement cultivators, it's a special bloodline theurgy. After concluding in his mind, Lu Kuan slowly exhaled. The body is the foundation, and the bloodline theurgy is the trump card. I'll study it when my cultivation level is high enough. The next cultivation task is clear. First, I'll cultivate my body to the late stage of bone transformation. He looked at the pair of psychic giant arms. With a thought, the blood essence in his arms retracted into his body under his control. His arms gradually returned to their original state. After all, it's my own blood. I can control it freely. Lu Kuan breathed a sigh of relief. While maintaining the mental strength in his internal organs, he remobilized the life force in his bones and entered his internal organs through his spine. He tried to absorb the blood essence that was infused with the frenzy will. Since the frenzy will could be compatible with his blood, he might as well control this will to attack the mental strength from the outside to the inside. As the blood that contained the will was absorbed into his internal organs, the two energies collided. A shock wave of consciousness quickly spread out with the internal organs as the center. Just as I expected, feeling the dried-up internal organs, Lu Kuan smiled. The frenzy will belongs to this spiritual attribute. After the internal organs are repaired with the demonic spirit, they can be increased to 90% life strength. Next, I'll go to the Sword Valley to absorb the sharpness will and increase it to 100%. Chapter 1184. A few days later, in the Rong Yuan Devil Cave, Serene Er's figure had disappeared. There was only a 30-foot-tall giant, surrounded by a ball of light made of demon Yuan Qi, exuding a terrifying pressure. After an unknown period of time, the huge body trembled slightly and began to shrink. After a while, the giant became 6 feet tall, and the surrounding demon Yuan Qi gradually disappeared into the dense demon Qi. Lu Kuan had just used Transcendence Dharma World to guide demon Yuan Qi into his body to repair the consciousness shock wave and damage to his internal organs. Accompanied by a strange aura of destruction and life, he slowly opened his eyes. Feeling the vigorous internal organs, the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of smile. After the tempering of several foreign wills, the strength of my internal organs has increased again, reaching 100% life strength. Just one cycle is enough to cultivate all the life force. According to the cultivation experience of the early stage of bone transformation, the life force in the body doubles to reach the threshold of the late stage of bone transformation. With abundant life force, the blood can store demon Qi and increase the storage of demon Qi. The improvement of the internal organs has shortened the cultivation time of life force. It is at least 2 or 3 times faster than before. I can start the cultivation of the middle stage of bone transformation. After Lu Kuan used Transcendence Dharma World and Demon Ape Transformation for the first time, he had roughly deduced the cultivation method of this stage. With some insights from his trip to Great Zhou, he had perfected it. The cultivation goal of the middle stage of bone transformation was to strengthen the concentration of blood essence and transform it into bone treasure cells. If one could achieve this, then when other body cultivators reached the late stage of bone transformation, even if they didn't have the silver dragon meteorite iron, they would still be able to display the supernatural power of Dharma Idol. However, blood transforming into bones was different from flesh and blood fusion. It was a one-sided transformation. Lu Kuan had no clue how to reverse the transformation of blood into bone treasure cells. He deduced that there were 3 stages to the middle stage of bone transformation. One of the stages was the same as the early stage. Through the circulation of the spine and internal organs, the blood essence energy was absorbed and the life force was increased. The second stage, Lu Kuan called it blood bone smelting. Through the use of Dharma Idol and Demon Ape Transformation multiple times, Lu Kuan discovered that the key to transforming blood into bones was the same as the bottleneck of the early stage of bone transformation, the tendons. The free transformation of blood into muscle was using tendons as nodes to expand and grow muscle. Among the components of muscle, tendons were the closest to bones. The moment blood was transformed into tendons, it was the state closest to bones. Blood bone smelting first transformed the blood into tendons, and then activated the power of destruction to temper the tendons and nodes of the entire body, thus increasing the quality and density of the blood. The entire bone transformation realm was a transformation of the body. The characteristics of the bone treasure were transferred to the whole body. The early stage was the transition to the muscles, and the middle stage was the transition to the blood. With the cultivation method echoing in his mind, Lu Kuan slowly walked to the intersection point of the spiritual energy pillar and the dense demonic aura. The power of qi and blood gushed out from his body like a vast ocean. This thick blood rushed to the surface of the bones. Silver tendon flowers appeared all over the bone treasure. The original tendon area expanded by half. At the same time, the muscle fibers swelled up like solid rock balls that hung on Lu Kuan's body. They were deformed and ferocious. An astonishing power of destruction emerged from the bones and muscles. At the early stage of bone transformation, only the bones stored demonic energy. At the middle stage of bone transformation, demonic energy also existed in the muscles. This demonic energy triggered the power of destruction, one from the outside and one from the inside, tempering the blood in the tendons. When the blood was tempered by the power of destruction and could no longer maintain the tendons, other blood would flow over. As long as all the blood cells in his body were tempered at the tendons, he would have completed a round of cultivation. The cultivation time of the power of life is greatly shortened because of the strengthening of the organs. This blood bone smelting can also increase the cultivation speed. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with a golden light. His burly body trembled slightly, and the more than 200 bones in his body creaked. The luster of the silver dragon meteorite and the transformation array on the bone treasure brightened. His body was quickly elongated, and he turned into a 3-meter-tall giant. My bones have been enlarged by 5 times. Although the amount of blood in the tendons has not changed, the area tempered by the power of destruction has increased by several times. The speed of each round of blood refinement has greatly increased. The consumption of Dharma World is astonishing. But in the Rong Yuan Devil Cave, an environment rich in demonic spirit qi, the replenishment of demonic energy is extremely fast. After going back and forth, the cultivation speed of blood bone smelting has increased a lot. As time passed, Lu Kuan gradually completed a round of blood bone smelting cultivation. He calmly sensed that the blood in his body had been compressed a bit, becoming more solid and solid. He whispered in his heart, "Next is the third stage of cultivation, bone marrow nourishment." Refining the blood like this could only ensure the density of the blood in this round. The blood in the human body was continuously produced through the bone marrow. In this stage, the condensed blood would replenish the bone marrow and increase the blood production ability at the same time. The speed of bone marrow nourishment cannot be increased, but I can use this time to recover my demonic energy. As this thought flashed through his mind, his huge body gradually shrank and returned to its normal size. The rich demonic spirit chi in the surroundings surged towards his body. Just like this, Lu Kuan cultivated in a cycle of 3 stages and completely entered a state of seclusion. In a cave in the depths of the Spirit Transformation Pavilion in Qingzhou, Wei Nation, a burly naked man and a giant bear stood opposite each other. There were dozens of scars on their skin and fur, looking extremely hideous. This man and bear were the martial artist who joined the body refining pavilion many years ago, Xiangshan, and his spirit beast, the giant spirit bear. Xiangshan held a short knife that flashed with golden light and stabbed it into his chest. He cut open his flesh expressionlessly, as if he did not feel any pain. The corners of his mouth did not even twitch. Under his skin was a large sternum that was 1 size larger than an ordinary human's. His left hand was wrapped in a layer of pale yellow light as he directly reached in. Accompanied by the sound of grinding teeth, this deformed sternum was forcefully pulled out. Little dumpling, this is the last piece of bone. The giant spirit bear nodded obediently and puffed out its chest. Xiangshan squinted his eyes and pulled out the short knife. With a gust of wind and golden light, he stabbed it into the giant spirit bear's chest. Then he did the same thing and pulled out a relatively thin sternum. He muttered something, and the 2 pieces of bone floated up, emitting a pale yellow light. With a crisscross, the small bone entered Xiangshan's chest while the large deformed sternum entered the giant spirit bear's body. Xiangshan's expression was complicated, and he sighed, "Little dumpling, it's been almost 100 years. The bone that was implanted by that old, which is finally changed back by our own hands." The giant spirit bear's eyes were very lively, but there was some pain in them as it whimpered twice. Xiangshan was silent for a moment. A surge of qi and blood energy rose in his body. He carefully sensed the bones in his body and muttered, "Fortunately, I waited until you became a level 2 demonic beast before I tried to change the bones again. I didn't expect the qi and blood energy in the bones to be so little. I'm afraid it was only after you broke through to level 2 that the demonic spiritual energy and bloodline flowed. Although the qi and blood energy is little, I can still give it a try." Xiangshan's eyes flashed with determination. "Little dumpling, I'll leave the rest to you. Use your fastest speed to break all the bones in my body. Only when the bones are broken and the blood is condensed will there be a chance to absorb the qi and blood energy and refine the demonic bloodline." The giant spirit bear climbed up and looked at Xiangshan's body that was a few sizes smaller than it. Its eyes were filled with worry and reluctance as it whimpered, "Of course I know that these bones have not been cultivated by the demonic spiritual energy. It's risky to break through to the blood condensation realm. But if it wasn't for the seniors from the body refining pavilion, we would have died long ago. How we have the chance to break through to a higher realm?" "Woo!" Xiangshan stared and shouted. "What are you waiting for?" The giant spirit bear was quick-witted and let out a roar, as if it was cheering itself on. Its thick bare paws slapped down on Xiangshan's human body. "Gotcha!" Hiss! Soon after, the sound of bones breaking and Xiangshan's painful cry came from the cave. Chapter 1185. Middle State of Wei Kingdom. This area was very different from many years ago. A large area near the Land of Death was divided into the Tsang State, where the Sky Soar Pavilion was located. The remaining area was only half the size of the Middle State and belonged to the 5 Elements Pavilion, one of the 6 body refinement pavilions. The 5 Elements Pavilion cultivated the 5 Elements body refinement technique created by Lu Kuan and had the most body refinement cultivators. Other than the mortal disciples who had fused with the weapon spirit root, There were also many cultivators who had switched to the body refinement technique. These were the disciples who had ordinary spirit root aptitudes, but had 3-star physiques and above. Most of them came from the local cultivation families and itinerant cultivators of Wei Kingdom. It had been more than 130 years since the Body Refinement Pavilion was established. These disciples, who were still in the Qi refinement stage or the early foundation establishment stage, had all become powerful body refinement cultivators. On this day, in a secret room of a certain abode in the depths of the 5-element pavilion, a 7 or 8-year-old little girl was lying on a jade bed. Her skin was extremely strange, sometimes red and sometimes ghastly white, and her body temperature was rapidly changing. On both sides of the little girl sat a man and a woman. The man was burly and handsome, while the woman was slightly taller and valiant. These two people were the new bone treasure stage body refinement cultivators of the 5 Elements Pavilion, Wang Hui and Hu Qian. More than 100 years ago, they were the direct descendants of the Wang family and the Hu family in the Middle State. The former inherited the fire element cultivation technique, while the latter inherited the water element cultivation technique. The strength of the two families was ordinary, and they did not even have a core formation stage cultivator. However, most of the disciples of the two families had 3-star physiques and above. They were more suitable for the body refinement technique than ordinary cultivators. Wang Hui and Hu Qian were the best among the disciples of the two families. In the past 100 years, their elemental fire and elemental water body refinement technique had broken through bottlenecks one after another. Half a year ago, they had successfully condensed their core and melted their bones, entering the early bone treasure stage. At this moment, the body refinement couple had serious expressions. Early core formation stage Dharma power surged in their bodies as they formed some kind of immortal cultivator spell and injected it into the little girl's body. With the passage of time, the little girl's skin gradually turned pink. Her wrinkled facial expression also relaxed. Her mouth and nose emitted a light groan as if she had fainted. Seeing this, Wang Hui and Hu Qian slowly withdrew their magic power. Looking at the little girl, their eyes were filled with love. Hu Qian lamented, "Fate makes fools of people. If Fei Fei was a man, her true yang body would be at least a 6-star physique. However, she is a woman. With the imbalance of yin and yang, her physique is even worse than a 1-star physique. In addition to his physique, his spiritual root is a rare 5 elements spiritual root. Not only is it difficult to practice the traditional immortal cultivation method, but the amount of spiritual qi his blood can hold is extremely limited. His body refining art can only be practiced to the bone tempering stage at most. Right now, we can still use our magic power to balance the imbalance of yin and yang in her body. However, when she reaches the age of 30, I'm afraid that even nascent soul stage Dharma power will not be able to protect her." Hearing Hu Qian's words, Wang Hui was silent for a long time. Then he said, "Qianer, don't worry. I've already asked Elder Pan to pass Fei Fei's blood essence to the Pavilion Master." The Pavilion Master created the body refining sect. His understanding of the physical body has reached an unimaginable level. If he is willing to help, even if Fei Fei can't enter the immortal cultivation world, she can at least live to 100 years old. Hu Qian's expression was somewhat hesitant as she said, "But Fei Fei is not a disciple of the body refining pavilion. Her aptitude is also so poor. Won't the Pavilion Master—" At this moment, the bracelet on Wang Hui's right wrist suddenly flashed with a red light. He scanned it with his divine sense and revealed an expression of ecstasy. It's Elder Pan's communication talisman. The Pavilion Master really has a way. As he spoke, a light red jade talisman floated in front of the two of them. Really? Hu Qian was indescribably happy. It was as if she had found a life-saving straw. Her divine sense quickly poured into the communication talisman. As time passed, the couple frowned at times and became happy at other times. Their expressions constantly changed. E-book after a long time. Hu Qian muttered, "Demonic spirit art? A half-demon body actually has a cultivation technique that can improve one's physique. Wang Hui took a deep breath and slowly said, I once heard Elder Pan mention that the Spirit Transforming Pavilion was researching a secret technique to improve one's physique. I didn't expect it to succeed. He stood up and paced back and forth in the hall. After a moment of thought, he said, True Yang is a special kind of fire tribute energy, comparable to heavenly flames. According to our Wang family's records, it belongs to the top of the immortal cultivation world. According to the logic of body refining, this true Yang body is the integration of the extreme fire attribute into the bloodline. Fei Fei is a woman. This kind of bloodline isn't compatible. As she grows older, the conflict with her internal organs will become more intense. Her internal organs will deteriorate faster, and her lifespan will be depleted. The Pavilion Master's idea is to start with the bloodline. Through the cultivation of the demonic spirit art and the integration of the bloodline of extreme cold demonic beasts, there's a high possibility that it can neutralize the true Yang attribute in Fei Fei's bloodline. When Hu Qian heard this, she couldn't help but say, but this demonic spirit art seems to be more dangerous than the body refining art. During the cultivation stage of the Vajra arts, one will have to exchange bones with demonic beasts. The conflict between the different bones in the body will cause 20 years of lifespan to be lost. Fei Fei's internal organs are already weaker than a normal person's. I'm afraid the loss of lifespan will be even greater. She might only be able to live to 30 years old. Wang Hui shook his head and said, With our help, Fei Fei still has a chance to reach the bone-tempering stage with her spirit root. Her lifespan loss is still bearable. You've read the Pavilion Master's description. You should know that the key to the half-demon body is the breakthrough to the blood condensation stage. He rubbed the jade talisman and said, The Spirit Transforming Pavilion's disciple tested the demonic spirit art. Due to the lack of blood energy in his bones, he could only break through the bone marrow cavity of his sternum and refine a small amount of demonic beast bloodline. But at this time, the sternum can absorb a large amount of blood energy from the demonic beasts. Through repeated bone exchange and nourishment, using the blood essence and blood energy of the demonic beasts, it can refine the other bone marrow cavities in the human body. It can gradually improve the blood in the whole body and completely integrate with the demonic beast bloodline, achieving the half-demon body. As he spoke until here, he looked at the little girl sleeping soundly on the jade bed. A trace of a smile appeared on his face. Junior sister, have you noticed that this kind of breakthrough to the blood condensation stage is more suitable for Fei Fei? Hu Qian was stunned for a moment before she reacted. Her face was filled with joy as she said, That's right. Fei Fei only has a 1-star physique. The amount of Fa Li her blood can hold is extremely low. It's almost impossible for her to break through to the blood condensation stage. If we use the demonic spirit arts method and use the blood energy to open up one bone marrow cavity, there's a great chance. Wang Hui's expression was excited as he said, although the demonic spirit arts blood condensation stage requires a long period of seclusion to break through, as long as she enters the blood condensation stage and integrates with the cold attribute demonic beast bloodline, the hidden danger of Fei Fei's true Yang physique will be mostly solved. In the future, when she reaches the viscera forging stage, not only will she be able to completely get rid of the hidden danger, her physique might even be greatly improved. Analyzing it this way, this demonic spirit art is completely prepared for cultivators with low physiques. If Fei Fei, with her 1-star physique, has the chance to cultivate to the blood condensation stage, then others can do the same. The appearance of the demonic spirit art gives more people the opportunity to cultivate their physique. At this moment, Hu Qian seemed to have thought of something. She revealed a worried expression as she said, According to the Pavilion Master's judgment, there's a high chance of success with the cold attribute demonic beast bloodline. But what if there's no neutralization and there's a conflict? Wang Hui squinted his eyes and interrupted, This depends on what kind of cold attribute demonic beast it is. After we capture the demonic beast, we can first use the blood control technique to test the compatibility of the cold attribute bloodline and Fei Fei's blood. As long as the bloodline is suitable, the success rate won't be low. Hearing this, Hu Qian's expression gradually became firm. She clenched her fists and said, "All right, let's do it this way. This is Fei Fei's only chance to cultivate. First, let's bring Fei Fei into the spirit transforming pavilion and learn the demonic spirit art. Then, we'll head to the outer seas to search for cold demonic beasts and collect demonic cores for the sect. Let's go. We'll head to the spirit transforming pavilion now." Chapter 1186. Time flew by, and more than 80 years passed in the blink of an eye. Over the years, more and more great Zhou cultivators entered the southwest immortal world. Lu Kuan's fame gradually spread, severely injuring the Xian sect and the Saint Devil sect, fighting against two divine transformation realm cultivators. When Master Lu of the Body Refining Pavilion was mentioned, almost all cultivators would think of the divine transformation realm. Under the protection of Lu Kuan, the Body Refining Pavilion developed rapidly with the resources brought by the vast territory. The number of disciples, especially body cultivators, increased at an alarming rate. Today, there are more than 700 body cultivators in the body tempering realm who were equivalent to the Foundation Establishment realm. There were 29 body cultivators in the Bone Treasure realm. In addition to the disciples of the Sky Sword Pavilion, Spirit Transforming Pavilion, and Treasure Pavilion, there are more than 60 Core Formation realm cultivators. Because the Body Refining Pavilion sealed off the Way Kingdom, the outside world did not know their true strength. They did not know that the only Bone Transformation realm body cultivators in the Body Refining Pavilion were Lu Kuan, Huang Xiaoyun, and Pan Yin. On this day, at the bottom of the Demon Abyss in the depths of the Yunling mountain range, several sturdy body cultivators stood outside a cave. Everyone's expression was incomparably respectful. The leader of the group was a sturdy young man. He was the Bone Transformation Elder of the Body Refining Pavilion, Huang Xiaoyun. Behind him stood two men and a woman. They were the outstanding disciples of the Body Refining Pavilion, Li Qianfeng, Zhao Qiming, and Duan Yun. With the help of the Devil Pool and the Demonic Dragon Mountain, and the assistance of Huang Xiaoyun and Pan Yin, these three people's cultivation progressed rapidly. Now, they had all entered the Bone Treasure realm. Elder Huang, the Pavilion Master, came out of seclusion this time. Did he break through again and enter the late Bone Transformation realm? The one who spoke was Li Qianfeng. His muscles were incomparably sturdy, and there were faint traces of black light surging under his skin. His right demon arm was incomparably thin. Huang Xiaoyun slowly said, "The Pavilion Master's cultivation is not something we can guess. He called you over this time is related to the Yi Yuan secret realm." Yi Yuan secret realm? The legendary ancient ruins left behind by the Yi Yuan sect. Naturally, they knew of this famous secret realm. The pure, true demon water that was an eye. It was an eyes, of course. Li Qianfeng was Zhao Qianfeng. Zhao Qiming stood beside Li Qianfeng. His body was slightly thinner, and his hair had fallen out at some unknown time. He curiously asked, "Pavilion Master wants us to seize the pure, true demon water inside. Is this also helpful to body cultivators?" Huang Xiaoyun shook his head. "Although the pure, true devil water is precious, it doesn't have much use for a body cultivator. The Pavilion Master sent you to the Yi Yuan secret domain, this time not to gather resources, but to bring a senior out." When everyone heard this, their expressions froze. Realm. The mystic realm restricts nascent soul cultivators from entering. Huang Xiaoyun listened to everyone's conversation and sighed. This senior has a great relationship with our body refining faction. He is a disciple of the ancient Yi Yuan sect. Next, he told them how the Hong brothers had explored the path of body refinement. The 4 first-generation disciples were soon immersed in the story. After a long time, Li Qianfeng said with a shocked expression, "So this is how the qi and blood are created. These 2 seniors Hong are the pioneers of body refining." He raised his withered right arm and murmured, The idea behind the body refining demonic art is very similar to the demonic zombie body refining art. The former stores the demonic energy in the demonic arm, while the latter stores the demonic zombie subbody. The others were also shocked. From this story, they could feel the difficulty of cultivating devil body refining technique. Eating the corpse of a devil body refining technique was not something an ordinary person could do. At the same time, they were incomparably angry with the Han family of the Yi Yuan sect. If they had not experimented on devil body refining technique, Senior Hong would not have been asleep. Huang Xiaoyun said solemnly. Pavilion Master has come up with several plans to bring Senior Hong out. However, the premise of these plans is that you have to subdue him. This senior cultivates devil body refining technique. Due to the special nature of this technique, he has survived since ancient times. However, his soul has been affected by the true devil intent and bloodthirsty intent for many years. His mind is in a mess. Not only do you have to subdue him, but you also have to awaken his consciousness. Otherwise, it will be useless to rescue Senior Hong out of the secret territory. According to Pavilion Master's estimation, this devil body refining technique pioneer will encounter a heavenly tribulation once he leaves the secret territory. Facing the heavenly tribulation, if his mind is not clear, only death will await him. Li Qianfeng and the others heard this, and their expressions became dignified. Their combat strength could be said to be the strongest under the nascent soul stage. If they joined forces, even two nascent soul early-stage cultivators would dare to fight. However, they could not help but feel a sense of pressure when dealing with Senior Hong. According to Huang Xiaoyun's description, this senior not only reached the limit of the bone treasure stage, but also generated body source strength. The strength of a bone treasure stage cultivator was between 25 to 300,000 gene. There was a big gap with the limit of 400,000 gene. Moreover, Senior Hong had body source strength, which had an absolute suppression on them. Duaniyun frowned and said, Senior Hong's body has integrated with the corpse of a top devil general. I'm afraid his defense is comparable to a bone transformation stage body cultivator. Even if I attack with all my strength, I'm not sure I can injure him. Zhao Qiming said worriedly. With 400,000 gene of strength and body source strength, his movement speed is even more amazing. If we join forces, I'm afraid we can only protect ourselves. Hong Yuntian's strength is indeed amazing, but what if you also generated body source strength? Just when the several disciples' expressions were heavy, a deep voice came into everyone's ears. A burly middle-aged man in gray clothes slowly walked out of the stone house door, with a little golden monkey lying on his shoulder. Pavilion Master. Disciple greets Pavilion Master. Everyone showed a respectful expression and bowed in greeting. Lu Kuan's eyes flashed with golden light. He looked at Li Qianfeng's demon arm and said with a smile, Not bad, Qianfeng, you have successfully integrated with Yu Xian's three sons' demon fire. Pure demon fire is flowing in your body. Then he looked at Zhao Qiming, showing a bit of surprise, and said, Good boy, I just mentioned it, and you actually succeeded. Not only did you use the tool Spirit Root method to complete the 5-element Spirit Root, but you also transformed your Fa Li into the 5 elements Poison Fa Li. Zhao Qiming said respectfully, If it wasn't for Pavilion Master's guidance and Elder Du's help, I wouldn't have succeeded in the transformation. Lu Kuan glanced at Duaniyun again, showing a satisfied look. Very good. You guys are in excellent condition. Blood thoughts have also integrated into the bone treasure, so you should be able to pass the test of physical body source energy smoothly. Li Qianfeng said with some doubts, Pavilion Master, you said to generate physical body source energy before. Do you want us to go to the Yi Yuan secret realm after breaking through? Lu Kuan touched Xiao Jin's tail and shook his head. After entering the bone transformation stage, the energy in the body will be transformed into demon ability. Even if it is temporarily transformed, it can only stimulate the Fa Li and demon ability of the perfect foundation establishment stage. It can't activate the Yi Yuan Jade Pendant. The corner of his mouth slightly raised, What I mean is, after you enter the secret realm, try to refine yourself and generate physical body source energy. To generate physical body source energy, you have to face the heavenly thunder. Li Qianfeng suddenly thought of something halfway through his words, and his eyes bloomed with surprise. Zhao Qiming and Duan Yun were the same. Senior Hong Yuntian, who had generated physical body source energy, had been stuck below the nascent soul stage and had never passed the body cultivation lightning tribulation. In other words, the special environment of the Yi Yuan secret realm couldn't produce heavenly thunder tribulation. If they could generate physical body source energy in the Yi Yuan secret realm, wouldn't they have enough time to familiarize themselves with the body cultivation combat techniques? Lu Kuan smiled gently. It seems that you guys have also thought of it. If you don't pass the heavenly thunder tribulation to generate demon ability, you can still activate the Yi Yuan Jade Pendant. Both sides have physical body source energy. The three of you and Xiao Jin, together with the body cultivation combat techniques, can completely subdue Hong Yuntian. Finally, the moment you leave the secret realm, it will be the time for the heavenly thunder tribulation to descend. The three body cultivation disciples all showed excitement. The success rate of this heavenly thunder tribulation was at least several times higher. The Yi Yuan secret realm will open in a year. During this time, I will teach you all the body cultivation combat techniques. As for how much you can comprehend, it will depend on your luck. Yes, Pavilion Master. Chapter 1187. In the middle of the desert in the central province of the Qi Kingdom, there was a pit with a radius of several thousand feet. The bottom of the pit was filled with rocks that were covered in cracks. Strong gusts of wind were squeezed out from the dark cracks, forming small whirlwinds. This was the entrance to the Yi Yuan secret realm. Now that the secret realm was about to open, many cultivators had already gathered around. A giant airship floated in the air to the north of the pit. There were nearly 20 cultivators on it. Most of them were peak core formation demonic cultivators. There were only a few foundation establishment cultivators. In addition to the wandering cultivators of the northern state, there were also demonic cultivators from the Great Zhou dynasty. 80 years ago, under the lead of the Body Refining Pavilion, several large sects of the Southwest jointly established the Southwest Merchant Alliance. They built and renovated many markets. That was especially true in the northern province of the state of Qi, where a ferry port had been built. Furthermore, he had expended a great deal of precious materials to create a battleship that could withstand the great wind. He had even opened up a safe route on the Heavenspan River. With the help of the Southwest Merchant Alliance's ferry, even foundation establishment cultivators could safely cross the Heavenspan River. It opened a window for communication between the Great Zhou dynasty and the Southwest cultivation world. The demonic cultivators on the airship had paid a great price to obtain the Yi Yuan Jade Pendant from the Southwest Merchant Alliance. In the past, even if demonic cultivators obtained the Yi Yuan Jade Pendant, they wouldn't be able to enter the Yi Yuan secret realm. They would be killed by the nascent soul elders of the major demonic sections. But now, with the protection of the Southwest Merchant Alliance, not only could the demonic cultivators who bought the jade pendants and talismans enter the secret realm safely, they would also be escorted out by the Merchant Alliance. However, even with this layer of protection, there were very few demonic cultivators who bought the Yi Yuan Jade Pendant. After all, the battles in the Yi Yuan secret realm were also filled with danger. In the southeast corner of the pit, the disciples of the blood refining sect and the Yin Yang sect gathered together. The disciples of both sects were conversing amicably, completely different from the open and covert struggles of 300 years ago. In the air above the disciples of the two sects, a red-haired old man and a beautiful woman in a purple dress stood side by side. They were the leaders of the two demonic sects, Qian Jingshan and Su Junwen. Brother Qian, how's the investigation of that matter going? Su Junwen quietly looked at the pit below and asked through his divine sense. Qian Jingshan said with a strange expression on his face, Ever since Fairy Su told me that Master Lu was Zhang Tianbiao, who entered the secret realm 300 years ago, I not only arranged for many disciples to search for information, but also personally went to Chu. We found out the origins of Master Lu and the body refining pavilion, but Su Junwen noticed the change in his expression and couldn't help but ask, "What's wrong, Brother Qian? Is the source of the body refining pavilion special?" Qian Jingshan shook his head, took a deep breath, and said, "It is rumored that the body refining pavilion is a sect passed down from the ancient Yuan school. But according to the information I've collected, this is not the case at this point." Fear flashed through his eyes. This body refining technique was created by Master Lu himself. He is the founder of the body refining pavilion. How is this possible? Su Junwen's beautiful eyes were full of disbelief. Master Lu has cultivated to his current level in such a short time, and even created his own body refining technique. This is too. Qian Jingshan's mouth twitched. If Master Lu is Zhang Tianbiao, then he is less than 500 years old. His appearance and name are exactly the same as a Foundation establishment disciple of the Yang clan's body refining pavilion from 400 years ago. If it wasn't for my sect coincidentally finding a surviving disciple of the Wei Kingdom's Nine Serenities sect, I'm afraid we still wouldn't know that this Lu Kuan of the Yang clan used magic tools to fight back then, which is exactly the same as today's body cultivators. Hearing this, Su Junwen's face changed. If the Yang clan had a body refining technique, they wouldn't have been so easily exterminated. Moreover, Lu Kuan's technique and fighting style are so different. It's impossible that the Yang clan didn't know about it. Qian Jingshan nodded lightly. Lu Kuan and the current treasure pavilion's Qin Yushu are known as the two heroes of the weapon refining peak. They have quite a reputation in the sect. There's only one reason why the Yang clan didn't pay attention to his technique. Su Junwen murmured, "It's because this technique is incomplete. Or rather, it's a newly created technique. If a technique can't even be cultivated by a Foundation establishment cultivator, then no one will pay attention to it." Qian Jingshan continued, "There seem to be traces of Lu Kuan on the Demon Island in the outer seas. However, the great sects of the Chu country have close relations with the body refining pavilion, so we couldn't get any specific information." Later on, this Master Lu disguised himself as Zhang Tianbiao and appeared in the Yuan secret realm. He revealed his core formation cultivation, and his fighting strength almost reached the pseudo-nascent soul stage. It's obvious that at that time, he had already derived his technique to the core formation stage. Hearing this, Su Junwen couldn't help but recall the scene of that year. Even though she had activated the power of her nascent soul, she still didn't dare to fight one-on-one with that powerful demonic zombie. Although the great sects of the Chu country aren't easy to get information about, some small clans of the Chu country do know some information. That is, the body refining pavilion was hidden in the chaotic ocean. Its restrictions were broken by the manifestation Thunder Tribulation, and it had no choice but to reveal itself. Later on, that Zhang Tianbiao and Fairy Su participated in the great battle of the Qi Kingdom. At that time, Master Lu's cultivation had officially entered the nascent soul stage. Later on, he and you privately confirmed the time of the great battle of the Blood Demon Mountain Range. It should be to ambush old Devil Sure. Qian Jingshan sighed softly. Master Lu's development all the way until he took over the Wei Kingdom, he was the only nascent soul stage body cultivator. In other words, 200 years ago, the body refining pavilion was just a weak sect. Master Lu was the only nascent soul stage body cultivator. The other nascent soul stage cultivators were all sword cultivators of the Heavenly Sword sect. When Su Junwen heard this, he was silent for a long time. His eyes were filled with complicated emotions. He muttered, "He's not even 500 years old. Not only did he cultivate to such a stage, he even created the body refining lineage that had never appeared before in the immortal cultivation world. Such talent," Qian Jingshan said with a wry smile. 200 years ago, we were still recuperating after the war. We were unwilling to provoke outsiders. If we had joined forces at that time, I'm afraid that the body refining pavilion would not have developed. Now, the body refining pavilion's strength is extremely terrifying. Yu Longfei, a sword cultivator at the Great Cultivator stage, seems to have a spirit treasure replica in his hands. As for nascent soul stage body cultivators, we know of 2 of them. There are also nascent soul stage elders and class 8 demon beasts in the spirit transforming pavilion. There are more than 10 nascent soul stage cultivators in the body refining pavilion. More importantly, Master Lu's strength has already exceeded our imagination. When Su Junwen heard this, an indiscernible look flashed across his eyes. He asked, "Brother Qian, you've already reached the peak of the Great Cultivator stage. Has Master Lu entered the Soul Formation stage?" Qian Jingshan pondered for a moment and said, "I once used a secret technique to sense it. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth in the body, refining pavilion, shows no signs of being refined. From this point of view, Master Lu hasn't entered the Soul Formation stage," he said with some hesitation, "but the news from the Great Zhou dynasty is so real. He has the strength of a Soul Formation stage cultivator. I can't sleep or eat well beside the body refining pavilion." When Su Junwen heard this, his gaze shifted slightly. His expression relaxed a little. He said, "Brother Qian, you don't have to worry about this. With such a shocking cultivation technique, the top sects of the Great Zhou dynasty will definitely covet it. The existence of our sects can be said to have blocked some obstacles for the body refining pavilion. With the addition of the Southwest Business Alliance, they won't easily swallow us." Qian Jingshan sighed softly. There was a hint of loneliness between his brows. He said, "If old Demon Pang had successfully broken through back then, perhaps the situation in the Southwest cultivation world would have been completely different. Unfortunately," as he spoke, he seemed to have sensed something and looked towards the southwest. "The people from the body refining pavilion are here. Master Lu is personally leading them." Chapter 1188. After a while, the cultivators near the crater all saw a huge battleship covered in black steel spikes shooting over from the distant horizon. This battleship was extremely fast, and it drew an arc in the air. Accompanied by a violent gust of wind, it steadily came to a stop at the western side of the crater. Immediately afterward, a burly figure transformed into a silver streak of light and flew toward the area of the 2 demonic sections. "Fellow Taoist Qian, Fairy Su, long time no see. I trust you 2 have been well since we last met." Lu Kuan arrived beside the 2 demonic cultivators with a smile. With Lu Kuan's arrival, Qian Jingshan and Su Junwen felt a heavy pressure wash over them. The air around them seemed to have solidified, and they couldn't help but feel goosebumps all over their bodies. This feeling seemed to be even more intense than 80 years ago. Qian Jingshan laughed dryly. These past few years, rumors of Master Lu's astonishing abilities have been spreading all over the Great Zhou dynasty. Our Southwest cultivation world can finally hold our heads up high. To the side, Su Junwen's eyes flickered, and he covered his mouth with a smile. "I heard that Master Lu's abilities are comparable to those of the Soul Formation stage. We should be addressing him as senior." Lu Kuan sighed. "In both of your sects, there are seniors attempting to break through to the Soul Formation stage. You should know how difficult it is to enter this stage. Although Lu is somewhat powerful, it is much more difficult for a body cultivator to break through to the Soul Formation stage. I have yet to find that opportunity." Hearing this, Qian Jingshan and Su Junwen both heaved a sigh of relief. However, their expressions were still filled with reverence. Rumors about the body refining pavilion were abuzz in the Great Zhou dynasty. The 2 of them were quite confident in Master Lu's abilities. After all, they had personally witnessed Lu Kuan's meteor battle technique. His ability to manifest vital energy into a form was extremely terrifying. Seeing their expressions, Lu Kuan smiled slightly and sent a voice transmission to Qian Jingshan. Lu noticed that fellow Taoist Qian's physical body is showing signs of decline. You don't have much lifespan left. You should be attempting to break through soon. Qian Jingshan's expression didn't change, but he was shocked. He sent a voice transmission. I'm now slightly over 900 years old. I still have 70 to 80 years of lifespan. Master Lu must have seen wrongly. The corners of Lu Kuan's mouth curled up. Many years ago, when he was refined into the jade-bone humanoid devil, he clearly remembered old Demon Pang's words. Qian Jingshan still had over 200 years of lifespan left. He continued to transmit his voice. Perhaps I was mistaken. However, Brother Qian will attempt to break through to the soul formation stage sooner or later. When you integrate the will of the true devil and activate the devil vital chi, it will definitely affect the Cloud Ridge Mountains. When the time comes, Lu will have to take action to protect Wei's devil chi. I'm afraid it will interfere with fellow Taoist Qian's breakthrough. Qian Jingshan's expression changed slightly. Master Lu, what do you mean? The smile on Lu Kuan's face remained unchanged as he transmitted his voice. This Lu doesn't have any other intentions. I just have a suggestion. Why don't the blood refining sect and the poison refining pavilion exchange their territories? The Demon Dragon Mountain has 2 true demon pools, and the pure demon chi they contain is no less than the Blood Demon Mountain range. If the blood refining sect moves there, the devil chi triggered by fellow Taoist Qian's breakthrough won't affect the body refining pavilion. Lu won't disturb fellow Taoist. Qian Jingshan's expression was a bit ugly. Master Lu's request is too much. My sect has been in the Blood Devil Mountain range for tens of thousands of years. Even if I don't agree, the nascent soul elders in my sect will oppose it. Lu Kuan's eyes narrowed. Lu, I'll cut to the chase. If fellow Taoist Qian is willing to move to the Qi Kingdom's West Prefecture, Lu can sign a contract with you. Not only will I not disturb fellow Taoist Qian's breakthrough, but I will also protect you. Even if the Great Zhou's soul-refining demonic cultivators come to cause trouble, Lu can stop them. Qian Jingshan cursed in his heart. The Great Zhou's Saint Devil sect, which had a conflict of interest with them, was already half destroyed. Lu Yanjun had also reached the late nascent soul realm. Ordinary grand cultivators wouldn't dare to cause trouble at the blood-refining sect. The only one who could threaten her breakthrough was Lu Kuan. Damn it, this guy is threatening me. If the demonic Yuan Qi is disturbed, even if I successfully fuse with the true demonic intent and form the half-devil soul, it will be for naught. Although the Southwest Chamber of Commerce is the link, the alliance agreement between the Body Refining Pavilion and the Blood Refining Sect has already expired. If I don't agree with this guy's character, he might use force. Qian Jingshan fell into a dilemma for a moment. Su Junwan saw that the Blood Refining Sect's Grand Elder's face became very ugly after hearing the two's voice transmission. He couldn't help but feel a chill in his heart. He laughed dryly and said, "Please continue. I have some things to tell my disciples." After saying that, the beautiful female cultivator flew towards the disciples of the Yin-Yang sect. Lu Kuan didn't care. He looked at the entrance of the Yi Yuan secret realm quietly. His eyes flashed. No one knew what he was thinking. After a while, Qian Jingshan seemed to have made a decision. He said slowly, "Master Lu, I can agree to this. However, apart from what Master Lu said before, there are 2 more conditions." "Tell me, Taoist Qian," Qian Jingshan said solemnly. "First, our 2 sects have been friends for 1,000 years. In the next 2,000 years, the Body Refining Pavilion can't annex my sect, let alone invade the West Province." Lu Kuan was silent for a moment. Then, he said, "I can agree to this condition. What's the other one?" Qian Jingshan looked at the Body Refining Pavilion's battleship in the distance and said slowly, "The second one is to trouble Master Lu to ask your disciples to help me bring back a demonic zombie from the 2nd level of the secret realm." Demonic zombie? Lu Kuan narrowed his eyes. The one in Taoist Qian's hands? But the secret realm limits nascent soul cultivators. There shouldn't be a demonic zombie of this level. The corner of Qian Jingshan's mouth twitched. I know Master Lu is Zhang Tianbiao for back then. What he wants is the special demonic zombie from the Devil Refining Cave. Lu Kuan was slightly surprised. He glanced at Su Junwan and sighed. Dao is Qian. Lu's divine ability is stronger than a body cultivator of the same realm. However, with my strength back then, I couldn't do anything to that demonic zombie leader. Qian Jingshan quickly shook his head. There's no need for the strongest one. According to the disciples' report, there are at least 2 more top-grade demonic zombies in the Devil Refining Cave. If a high-level body cultivator cooperates with my sect's disciples, we can at least capture 1 top-grade demonic zombie. Lu Kuan said with some regret. I'll have to disappoint Daoist Qian. The Body Refining Pavilion didn't send any high-level body cultivators. The core formation disciples are all demonic sword cultivators from the Sky Sword Pavilion. As for the body cultivator disciples, only a few foundation establishment cultivators came. They can't help at all. Hearing this, Qian Jingshan couldn't help but extend his divine sense towards the Body Refining Pavilion's battleship. He didn't check carefully before. Now, he discovered that there were only 34 people on the Body Refining Pavilion's flying ship. One of them was Huang Xiaoyun, a nascent soul-stage body cultivator. There were also 4 disciples who looked very thin and weak. Their bodies were filled with dense, demonic sword intent. The leader of the group was a male sword cultivator. His metal attribute, demonic power, had already reached the great circle of the core formation stage. The other 3 were much weaker. They were only in the early and middle stages of the core formation stage. The remaining 29 people were all body cultivators with strong physiques. Even a few women among them had obvious muscle lines on their exposed arms. Although the aura of these people was faintly discernible, Qian Jingshan could still sense the aura of Foundation Establishment Stage magic power. When Qian Jingshan saw this scene, he said with a stunned expression, Master Lu, your sect seems to have intercepted more than a dozen single origin jade pendants from the Southwest Chamber of Commerce this time. Moreover, Master Lu has come in person. Lu Kuan chuckled and said, I will explain the purpose of my visit to fellow Daoist Qian later. The pavilion has other uses for the single origin jade pendants. In short, Lu can't catch the demonic zombie. After all, sword cultivators focus on attacking. Their defense is too weak. They are not a match for the top demonic zombie. Fellow Daoist Qian, please change the condition. Qian Jingshan still wanted to say something, but looking at Lu Kuan's expression, it was obvious that he didn't want to catch the demonic zombie. However, the demonic zombie in his hand, after many cultivation sessions, had gradually developed consciousness. Unless it swallowed the nascent soul of a great cultivator, it couldn't continue to soak in the true demonic water. Only by changing a new demonic zombie could he use the secret technique of the demonic refining art to help him break through to the deity transformation stage. After thinking for a while, Qian Jingshan sighed and said, How about this? Can you sell the pure, true demonic water obtained by the disciples of the Body Refining Pavilion to our sect? Lu Kuan nodded and said, That's no problem. In this case, does fellow Daoist Qian agree to migrate the sect? A trace of struggle flashed across Qian Jingshan's face. In the end, he said dejectedly, As long as Master Lu signs the contract, I will persuade the elders of the sect. Lu Kuan showed a satisfied expression, and a stone appeared in his hand. At this moment, his expression suddenly changed. Hey, the opening of the secret realm seems to have been brought forward a little. From the crevices of the rocks at the bottom of the pit, a mixture of yellow, black, and white spiritual light gushed out. It was full of demonic aura, and spiritual aura. A terrifying wind pressure swept out in all directions. Then, a bright silver light curtain appeared from the bottom of the cave. Chapter 1189. On the grassland at the edge of the first level of the Yuan secret realm, a bright silver light flashed. 29 figures gradually appeared. These people were tall and sturdy. Their eyes flashed, and they emitted a ferocious aura like that of a wild beast. 3 waves of completion-leveled spiritual energy surged out of the 3 leaders' bodies and spread out in all directions. Very good. There are no disciples of the 2 demonic sects within a radius of 20 to 30 miles. The man in the lead muttered as he looked at the dark sky and the flat plains. As he spoke, the muscles on his face slightly twisted and turned into a middle-aged man with a calm expression. The muscles on his right arm shrank, like a withered arm bone hanging on his shoulder. It was the eldest senior brother of the Body Refining Pavilion's current generation of disciples, Li Qianfeng. The rest of the people's muscles also wriggled and turned back to their original appearances. Each of them emitted surging blood qi energy. There was a faint light flashing in their bodies. Zhao Qiming, Duan Yiyun, Li Kuei, Gao Yong. These 29 people were the 29 first-generation disciples of the Body Refining Pavilion. Qin Jingshan didn't expect that the Body Refining Pavilion would not only send out Bone Treasure Stage body cultivators, but also all of them. Li Qianfeng looked around at everyone and said in a deep voice, "Act according to the plan." Except for Xiangshan, everyone spread out and sweep the first level of the Demon Stone land and all kinds of demonic materials. Bone Treasure Stage body cultivators consume a lot of demon stones. The amount of resources collected this time is closely related to your cultivation speed in the next 100 years. You must sweep it clean. 1 month later, we will gather at the center of the Yuan secret realm in the Devil Pool land and enter the 2nd level together. Yes, eldest senior brother. We'll go too. If there are any special situations, contact us through the communication Jade Talisman. The surrounding body cultivators cupped their fists to Li Qianfeng. Core formation stage spiritual power surged out of their bodies. After identifying the direction, they turned into dozens of escape lights and shot out in all directions. After everyone left, Li Qianfeng looked at a sturdy man wearing beast skin behind him. This person was the forerunner of the demon spirit art, Xiangshan, who had successfully transformed into a half-demon. When Xiangshan successfully entered the blood condensation stage, he found that his situation was different from Fairy Fang Yuan. The transformation into a half-demon didn't happen in an instant. Instead, it took a long time. When he just entered the blood condensation stage, he only fused with a trace of demonic beast blood qi energy. Next, he had to repeatedly exchange bones with demonic beasts to transfer blood qi energy into his bones. After a full 10 years, he finally completed this step and officially transformed into a half-demon. His physical aptitude also increased from 4 stars to 5 stars. If it wasn't for the giant spirit bear's low aptitude, the effect would have been even better. There were many descendants of the older generation of cultivators in the Body Refining Pavilion, as well as some family members. Many of them had spiritual roots, but their physiques were extremely poor. When they heard about the characteristics of the demon spirit art, they all rushed into the spirit transforming pavilion. Because of this, the Body Refining Pavilion had also given a lot of resources to the Spirit Refining Pavilion. Xiangshan, the pioneer, had successfully entered the Bone Treasure stage with his own aptitude and the help of the Body Refining seniors. Li Qianfeng looked at this young junior brother with a curious gaze and said, "Junior brother Xiong, the Pavilion Master said that you're looking for a suitable demonic beast. Could it be that the demon spirit art can absorb the bloodline of demonic beasts?" Xiangshan smiled. "I'm not sure if I can absorb demonic beast blood. Demonic beasts help me cultivate blood demon force." Blood demon force? Li Qianfeng was surprised. Xiangshan explained, "Junior apprentice brother carefully studied the blood demon bone refining art. I found that the demon spirit art's magic power is special. It doesn't have a good effect on blood demon force. I studied several related arts. If I borrow demonic beasts, I might be able to cultivate blood demon force that completely contradicts each other." Li Qianfeng nodded. Blood demon force is the opposite of traditional magic power. The energy cultivated by the spirit transformation art is a combination of magic power and demonic spiritual power. Xiangshan sighed. Unfortunately, primitive demonic beasts are rare in the outside world. Most of them are hybrids with demonic beasts or were modified by demonic cultivators. They are not suitable for demon spirit art research. According to Pavilion Master, there is still demonic beast blood left in the Yuan secret realm. Li Qianfeng's hand flashed, and a jade slip appeared. He looked through it carefully and said, "Yes, there are many demonic beasts in the first level of the secret realm. Your blood demon force is at the foundation establishment stage. You want a peak level 4 demonic beast, right?" "Yes, senior apprentice brother. Since that's the case, let's capture all demonic beasts above level 4. Li Qianfeng's body surged with a rich fire attribute magic power. The light wrapped around Xiangshan and shot off in a certain direction. After a while, the light became faintly discernible and disappeared into the dusky sky. In the second level of the Yuan secret realm, 3 men and a woman appeared in a valley filled with dark fog. The 4 of them were skinny and looked weak. However, their bodies emitted an extremely sharp sword aura. They were the 4 core formation stage sword cultivators of the Sky Sword Pavilion. The leader was a middle-aged man with an ordinary appearance. His body emitted a surging sword aura like a sharp sword. This person was Dugu Yiming, the creator of the demonic sword art and the blood demon sword embryo. His talent was amazing. After solving the problem of strengthening his meridians, his cultivation progressed at an astonishing speed. As early as 30 years ago, Dugu Yiming rushed into the great circle of the core formation stage in one go. The extremely dense, demonic sword aura in his body even produced a trace of sharpness that only nascent soul stage sword cultivators could use. His battle strength was not inferior to Li Qianfeng and the others. In fact, his attack power was even higher. If Dugu Yiming broke through to the nascent soul stage, the demonic sword aura in his body would be sharper than the older nascent soul stage sword cultivators. In addition to the demonic sword aura, the meridians in his body had also been strengthened to a critical point. Even if he used the blood demon sword to devour a 7th level peak demonic beast, it would still be difficult to improve. Although the current strength of his meridians could support the demonic sword aura, Dugu Yiming was not a reckless person. He wanted to break through the shackles of his meridians first, and then try to condense his nascent soul. Dugu Yiming was not confident in dealing with an 8th level demonic beast. Moreover, such high-level demonic beasts all hid in the depths of the outer sea and were difficult to find. However, in the second level of the Yuan secret realm, there was a 7th level peak demonic beast. The demonic beast body was stronger than ordinary demonic beasts. After the blood demon sword devoured it, it might have a miraculous effect. Therefore, these sword cultivators who cultivated the demonic sword art were all sent to the Yuan secret realm by Lu Kuan. On one hand, they could collect cultivation resources. On the other hand, they could also assist Li Qianfeng and the others. The attack power of these 4 people far exceeded that of cultivators of the same level, but their bodies were too fragile. However, if they were together with a bone treasure stage body cultivator, the strength of both sides was not as simple as 1 + 1. Dugu Yiming used his divine sense to explore the surroundings and said in a deep voice, "Let's first sweep the outer area of the demonic cultivator's cave. After a month, we will meet up with those body refiner brothers." "Yes, senior brother," the 3 sword cultivators behind him said respectfully. Next, Dugu Yiming patted a spirit beast bag on his waist. A golden ape landed in front of everyone, scratching its ears and cheeks. It seemed to be quite excited. Dugu Yiming said with a bit of respect, "Martial Uncle Jean, I'll have to trouble you to help us break the restriction of the ancient demonic cultivator's cave." Squeak, squeak. The little monkey placed its hands on its hips, looking like it was telling Dugu Yiming not to worry. Then, with a flash, it jumped onto Dugu Yiming's shoulder. The latter took out a jade slip, identified the direction, and waved his hand. "Let's go." A pure demonic sword aura gushed out of the 4 sword cultivators, intertwining into a dark golden sword light and shooting in one direction. Chapter 1190. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, A month had passed. In the center of the first layer of the secret realm, the dusky sky was covered with a layer of dark red luster, illuminating the secret realm within a radius of 10 miles. A double-peak demonic volcano sat in the center, emitting a terrifying temperature. Around the volcano, there were Foundation Establishment stage demonic cultivators gathered in groups of 3 to 5. These people had all paid a hefty price to purchase information on the first level of the secret realm and knew that this was the place with the largest amount of devil stones. They explored the small lava pools, looking for demon stones. As for the volcano, no one dared to approach it. The temperature was astonishing. Even if there were false core demonic cultivators among them, they wouldn't be able to last long. Moreover, these people all knew that there was a demonic beast group called the demonic molten crocodile living in the volcano. In such a hot environment, encountering such a flaming demonic beast was simply seeking death. However, they didn't know that not only had people entered the volcano, but they had also gone deep into the magma. In the depths of the double-peak demonic volcano's magma, in a blazing cave filled with the smell of sulfur, there was a continuous hammering sound. In the center of this huge cave, there was a silver light screen with a diameter of 30 feet. Pure demonic chi overflowed from it, and an exquisite array could be vaguely seen. Around the array, there were more than 20 men and women wearing grayish-black inner armor. They were holding something similar to a mining shovel and digging into the ground. Pieces of demon stones containing pure demonic chi exploded from the ground, then were absorbed into storage space by rays of light. Nearly 30 demonic beasts with rock-like fiery red scales that resembled crocodiles were all curled up in a corner of the cave. The largest of them was nearly 20 feet long, and the smallest was only a few feet long. Although their bodies were huge, their pitch-black eyes emitted a frightened look as they fearfully looked at these humans. After a full 3 days, the ground of this cavern had been forcefully dug more than 6 feet deep. The demonic chi on the ground had become very sparse, and the silver formation was suspended in the air by a single pillar. Li Qianfeng shook his arm and put away the mining shovel. He smiled and said, "I didn't expect there to be more than 300,000 demon stones here." Zhao Qiming, who was at the side, nodded gently and said, "We didn't waste this month. We almost cleared out all the magic stones on this floor. In total, there are over 1 million magic stones. Everyone can get over 30,000 magic stones." The surrounding body cultivators all looked excited, especially the early-stage bone treasure disciples. Although the cultivation speed of the blood demon hardbone technique was amazing, it consumed a lot of devil chi and spirit chi. The body refining pavilion had a vast area and a lot of spirit veins. There were enough middle-level spirit stones, but the magic spirit veins were rare. There were some magic stones produced, but after dividing it among so many treasure bone stage body cultivators, each person only had 1,000 magic stones. With so many magic stones, these early-stage bone treasure body cultivators would only need to cultivate for 30 to 40 years to reach the peak of the early-stage bone treasure realm. Once they reached the middle-stage bone treasure realm, the body refining pavilion would open the magic pool to these disciples, greatly reducing the consumption of magic stones. Li Qianfeng turned his head and looked at the demonic molten crocodile in the corner of the cave. The corners of his mouth curled into a smile as he said, "All right, clean up the demon stones and capture all the demonic molten crocodiles here." "Yes, senior brother." These strong men directly rushed to the corner of the cave. The group of demonic molten crocodiles let out frightened roars, followed by the sound of heavy blows. These demonic molten crocodiles felt as if they were hammered by countless rocks. Their heads were dizzy. Before they could react, their mouths were forcefully opened and balls of blood with rich chi and blood were stuffed into their mouths. Then the blood in their bodies was frozen by some kind of spell. Their muscles became incomparably stiff and their bodies couldn't move. Only their black eyeballs were moving in fear. Accompanied by rays of light, these demonic molten crocodiles were taken into the storage space of the bone treasure body cultivators. Li Qianfeng's hand flashed, and a milky white jade pendant appeared in his hand. Junior brother Dugu should be outside the demonic molten crocodiles. Let's go. Early stage bone treasure body junior brother. Pay attention to activating the spirit extinguishing inner armor. The lava there is at least equivalent to the core formation stage's core fire. Yes, senior brother. Next, the group of people held the Yuan Jade pendant in their hands and entered the silver formation one by one. Somewhere in the second layer of the concealed realm, 10 core formation demonic molten crocodiles of the blood refining sect were galloping in the air. The two people at the front had profound cultivation and had reached the peak of the core formation stage. If Lu Kuan was here, he would recognize the two people leading the group. One of them was a burly middle-aged man. 300 years ago, he was the Foundation establishment disciple who cultivated the origin demonic art, Lei Batian. The other tall and thin man was in Su Zihong's group, Zhou Yu, who cultivated the demonic Luo sword art. After so many years, their cultivation had steadily increased. They were only one step away from the nascent soul stage. Zhou Yu held a jade slip in his hand and said with a worried expression, "Senior Brother Lei, the Grand Elder's mission is to capture a top-level demonic zombie. Although we have the demonic seed bead, Junior Brother is not the Blood Devil. It will be difficult for us to exert its full power." 300 years ago, after the trip to the concealed realm, the blood-refining sect only lost one Blood Devil. But in the following decades, everyone except Ma Jie mysteriously disappeared. The Blood Devil suddenly fell into a state of shortage. Among the new generation of Blood Devils cultivated by the blood-refining sect, only one of them was at the early core formation stage. His cultivation was too weak to activate the demonic seed bead. When Lei Batian heard Zhou Yu's words, the image of the scarred man flashed in his mind. If that person was still alive, he would have reached the peak of the core formation stage by now. He shook his head and said slowly, "Junior Brother Zhou, don't worry. The Grand Elder sent his demonic zombie child over. The devil zombies refined by him can fight against nascent soul cultivators with their physical strength alone. Furthermore, apart from you and me, the other 8 junior martial brothers can also activate nascent soul-level defensive spiritual light when they form formation. Even if we encounter that devil zombie leader, we can still put up a fight." Zhou Yu looked at the spirit beast pouch on Lei Batian's waist, and his eyes lit up. The Grand Elder's demonic zombie child can resist a nascent soul middle-stage cultivator, but how can a nascent soul cultivator enter the concealed realm? Lei Batian said, "This demonic zombie doesn't have a soul. It's just an empty shell. Its strength lies in its physical body, so it can be brought in." Zhou Yu's expression relaxed. "Then Junior Brother can rest assured. It seems that our sect is the strongest in the second level of the concealed realm," Lei Batian said with a relaxed expression. This time, only 4 sword cultivators from the Sky Sword Pavilion entered the body refining pavilion. No matter how strong Dugu Yiming is, without the help of a body cultivator, he won't be able to defeat us. I hope they don't come and cause trouble." Then, a spirit light flashed in his hand and a jade slip appeared. He identified the restrictions in the surroundings and muttered, "In about half a month, we'll be able to reach the center. The Yin-Yang sect should be there as well. If the chaotic valley is buried underground, we'll need the combined strength of 2 core formation cultivators to dig it out in a short time." On the other side of the second level, 2 huge iron-winged demonic eagles were flying in the dark sky. 5 pairs of men and women landed on their backs. The leaders were a pair of tall and slender men and women. They looked calm, completely different from the curious disciples around them. These 2 were Yufian and Dai Ming, disciples of the Yin-Yang sect who came to the Yi-Yuan secret realm 300 years ago. They had reached the peak of the core formation realm more than 100 years ago, but they never tried to break through. Dai Ming looked at the scenery below. His eyes flickered as he said, "Junior sister, the blood-refining sect is determined to obtain the demonic corpses. We will not participate in the demonic cultivating cave. This time, Our target is the demonic cultivation pavilion's secret pavilion. 300 years ago, when the Holy Lord came, he found the hidden pavilion. However, because he didn't have much nascent soul power left, he couldn't open it. Now that I've cultivated the yin-yang mother-child method, I've already formed the yin-yang nascent soul power. If we can bring back the cultivation method in the hidden pavilion, we'll have done a great service. Yufian nodded slightly. Her eyes flashed with excitement. We don't need to care about the devil refining cave. As long as we complete our mission, the Holy Lord will personally help us break through and form the yin-yang nascent soul seeds. Hearing about the yin-yang nascent soul, Dai Ming's eyes flashed with a cold light. He smiled and said, "That's right. Let's hurry. The chaotic valley still needs to be opened by the 2 sections." As he spoke, a surge of dense demonic energy surged out from under his feet. The iron-winged demonic eagle let out a joyful cry and sped into the distance. Chapter 1191. The disciples of the blood-refining sect were running on a hill covered with weeds. Lei Batian looked at the scenery below and muttered, "Another 100 miles and we'll reach the dream Devil Plain. After that, we'll arrive at the Chaos Valley." Zhou Yu was beside him, rubbing a milky white jade bracelet in his hand. The light on the bracelet flickered as he said, "The yin-yang sect's communication jade talisman has already reacted. We're getting closer and closer. Maybe they'll arrive even earlier." Rumble. At this moment, a deafening rumble sounded in everyone's ears. It was as if the entire world was raging. The disciples of the blood-refining sect couldn't help but slow down. Then, a silver light shone in the sky, revealing a vast and boundless restrictive light. It illuminated the ground of the 2nd level of the secret realm. However, this silver light was like a flash of lightning. It only appeared for 1 or 2 breaths before it disappeared. The world fell into darkness again. What just happened? Why was there thunder? The secret realm is different from the outside world. It can't form a natural thunderstorm. Something happened in the sky. Is someone attacking the entrance of the secret realm from the outside? Wait, did you notice that the surrounding demonic chi is flowing in one direction? It seems so. Hey, look over there. Everyone followed the disciples' hand and looked to the east. Through some broken restrictions, they could vaguely see an area emitting red light in the distance. Dense demonic chi was converging in that direction, forming a black funnel cloud in the sky. A phenomenon in the secret realm. When the Chaos Valley first appeared, I heard that there was a similar phenomenon. Zhou Yu's mind flashed as he suddenly realized something. He said excitedly. When Lei Batian heard this, demonic light surged in his hand and a jade slip appeared. He used his divine sense to compare the scene in the distance and muttered, "According to the sect's records, that should be the lava cave. It's one of the places where the true demonic water is purified. However, there are nearly 20 high-level demonic beasts living in the cave. In a lava environment, these demonic beasts have amazing abilities. No one wants to provoke them." Then he thought of something and frowned. Strange. This scene is a bit like the phenomenon of a demonic cultivator breaking through to the nascent soul realm. Zhou Yu was stunned. Breakthrough? Could it be that the molten fiend alligator broke through to the 8th grade? But I've never heard of a magical beast of this level appearing in the secret realm. Lei Batian hesitated for a moment before he gritted his teeth and said, "We can't ignore this kind of opportunity. Let's go and take a look. Let's go." After saying that, he waved one hand and the magic power in his body surged. He took everyone's escape light and drew an arc in the air, flying toward the east. For these core formation stage cultivators, a distance of several dozen kilometers was nothing more than a blink of an eye. However, due to the incomplete restrictions around them, they were unable to use their spiritual sense to investigate from afar. When they arrived near the red light area, the scene of the lava catacombs entered their field of vision. Under the huge black demonic cloud was a narrow and long valley. From afar, it looked like a crack in the ground. Lava flowed in it, and there were many gray rocks in the middle. In the middle of the small valley, there was a pitch-black cave entrance. There were no fiend molten crocodiles around, only 4 skinny figures. They were sitting cross-legged above the cave entrance, and each of them had a 4-inch-long gray sword floating in front of their chests. A swordsman from the body refining pavilion. When the blood refining sect saw this scene, they were stunned. At the same time, the middle-aged man with the strongest aura seemed to have noticed something. He opened his eyes and looked at the people outside the small valley. He spat out a word in an extremely cold voice. Scram! As he spoke, he formed a sword seal with his hand and pointed his index finger to the sky. A 3-foot-long dark golden sword chi shot out from the small sword in front of him. A terrifying aura of sharpness soared into the sky, producing a whistling sound as it tore through the air. It shot towards the blood-refining sect cultivators. Lei Batian and Zhou Yu were shocked and angry. They were shocked because of the appearance of a swordsman from the body refining pavilion. They were angry because of Dugu Yiming's words. He didn't put them in his eyes at all. In the face of this terrifying sword chi, the two didn't dare to be careless. Demonic power surged in their bodies, and a short axe and a long sword suddenly appeared. They turned into 2 beams of demonic light and went forward to meet the attack. Who would have thought that the demonic treasures activated by the 2 demonic cultivators at the peak of the core formation realm would spontaneously collapse upon contact with the sword chi? They were sent flying without any resistance. The radiance of the sword chi only dimmed a little. Zhou Yu's pupils suddenly shrank. He clearly sensed that the demonic power in the demonic sword was rapidly shrinking, as if it had encountered some kind of natural enemy. Lei Batian also felt the same. He cried out involuntarily. Not good. It's the sharpness of a swordsman. We can't fight against it. Brothers, quickly use your secret techniques. Hearing Lei Batian's words, the other 8 blood-refining sect disciples' expressions turned cold. The demonic power in their bodies quickly surged, and a thick layer of blood-red barrier enveloped them. The unique pressure of a nascent soul realm cultivator spread out. Boom! The blood-red and dark golden radiance intertwined. Fortunately, the sword chi didn't contain much demonic power. It only intertwined for a few breaths before it gradually dimmed and dissipated. Zhou Yu wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. Dugu Yiming actually cultivated the sharpness of a sword. It's equivalent to half a step into the nascent soul realm. No wonder the body refining pavilion only sent 4 sword cultivators. Lei Batian looked at the entrance of the demonic lava cave, guarded by the sword cultivators. He didn't know why, but he smelled a trace of danger. He decisively said, Grand Elder's mission is more important. It's not good to become enemies with the body refining pavilion. Retreat. The others quickly nodded. They maintained the blood-red barrier and fled back the way they came. Lei Batian had heard of Dugu Yiming's fame. Even if he was half a step into the nascent soul realm, his offensive power wouldn't be much different from a true nascent soul realm cultivator. Although the demonic zombie and demonic seed bead could resist the power of a nascent soul realm cultivator, the cost of activating them wasn't small. This was the demonic lava cave. Where did the dozen demonic molten crocodiles go? Were they all killed by the 4 sword cultivators? Or were they trapped in the cave? What was this strange phenomenon? Why were the sword cultivators of the body refining pavilion guarding this place? All of this made Lei Batian feel that something was amiss. He didn't dare to rashly probe. Not long after the people of the blood refining sect left, in this small lava valley, besides the 4 sword cultivators, 29 figures appeared out of thin air. They were scattered all over the valley. Their bodies didn't emit any aura. They were the bone treasure realm disciples of the body refining pavilion. The ones closest to the cave entrance were 2 men and 1 woman. They were Li Qianfeng, Zhao Qiming, and Duan Yun. They didn't pay attention to the people of the blood refining sect. Instead, they quietly looked at the sky. Li Qianfeng's eyes flashed with excitement. Such a demonic phenomenon. It's obvious that Martial Uncle Gene has refined his own bone treasure and generated his flesh source strength. Duan Iyun's face revealed a joyful expression. Pavilion Master's judgment is correct. In the Yuan's secret realm, heavenly tribulation won't descend. This place is simply prepared for body cultivators who have completed their bone treasure realm. As long as they generate their flesh source strength, they will have enough time to practice their battle skills. Zhao Qiming shook his head and said with a serious expression, "It's not that simple. Without the nourishment of the heavenly tribulation's energy, the flesh source strength can only use half of its divine ability. Otherwise, under the explosion of the half-fused demonic energy, the bone treasure will be destroyed by the terrifying destructive power and die without a burial place. We have to be more careful when practicing our battle skills in this state." Li Qianfeng took a deep breath and said, "You're thinking too far ahead. The most important thing now is to complete the first step. Now that martial Uncle Gene has succeeded, the next step is up to us." Although the body refining pavilion is supported by the Pavilion Master's prestige, without enough bone transformation realm body cultivators, it can't be considered a true rise. We must not fail. The eyes of the 3 body cultivators who had completed their bone treasure realm blossomed with determination. Chapter 1192. At the entrance of the lava catacombs, a monkey's hands were hanging on a protruding rock, swaying left and right. If one looked closely, they would notice that the monkey's arms were not in direct contact with the rock. There was a gap of more than a foot between the two. The air there was slightly distorted, as if it was filled with a layer of invisible force. This monkey was Xiao Jin, who had successfully broken through. Flowing in its body was the long-armed ape monkey's 6-eared macaque bloodline. Although it had not condensed the Yao core, the demonic spiritual energy in its body was extraordinary. Its purity was far beyond that of ordinary demonic beasts. It had spent many years repeatedly purifying its energy. Its energy level was no less than qi and blood demonic energy. With the help of Xuanming's thoughts, its resistance to qi and blood demonic energy was even stronger than Lu Kuan's. The first hurdle of breaking through the bone transformation stage was not particularly difficult for it. It had successfully formed the origin power of its physical body. As there was no heaven's tribulation, the demonic energy in its body was in a semi-integrated state. At this time, it could only release half of its original force field. If it passed the heaven's tribulation, Xiao Jin, who also had a 9-star physique, would be like Lu Kuan. He would be able to control a passive force field with a range of 3 feet. The use of physical cultivation techniques would become incomparably smooth. Many years ago, due to its fear of heaven's tribulation, the little monkey was later than Zhao Qingtian and the others to break through. It was depressed in its heart. This time, it was fully prepared and took the lead to break through. It was to test whether the Yuan's secret realm could block out heaven's tribulation as Lu Kuan had predicted. In the end, it was daunting but not dangerous. Although it heard the roar of thunder, there was no heaven's tribulation. This secret realm could indeed block the senses of heaven and earth. After breaking through, Xiao Jin's appearance had changed quite a bit. Its height had grown to 3 feet, and its fur had turned dark gold. The small meatballs outside its ears had also stretched out. It looked like it could become 4 ears. Although it had successfully broken through, the little monkey did not seem to be in a good mood. Its dark gold brows were tightly knitted together, and its eyes were filled with confusion and fear. Not long ago, when it broke through, many fragments of memories suddenly appeared in its mind. It transformed into a handsome ape and fought with another ape. In his memory, it seemed to be proficient in all kinds of Dharma spells of the immortal cultivators. It could control the spiritual chi of heaven and earth with a raise of its hand and cast out earth-shattering Dharma spells and divine powers. Its physical body was not too weak either. It attacked with a long black stick. Not only did its opponent look exactly the same as it, even its divine ability and staff were exactly the same. Could that monkey be the wise stone monkey that Lu Kuan mentioned before? Why is it like this? Why do I have to fight to the death with my own race? After Xiao Jin broke through, he had the ability to speak the human language. He murmured softly. In my memory, the blood in my body seemed to be burning. My heart was filled with endless resentment and helplessness, as if I was berating the unfairness of the world. It thought for a long time and shook its head. Let's not think about it anymore. I'll tell Lu Kuan when we get out. He might know the reason. Then, the little monkey continued to sway. Its consciousness sank into its body, and a layer of faint silver light appeared outside its body. The passive origin energy field changed all kinds of shapes on the surface of its body. In the other corners of the cave, there were 3 semicircular formations that were about 10 feet long. Their surface flashed with rich spiritual light. In addition to having a certain degree of defensive power, they also provided spiritual qi of different attributes through the spirit stones embedded in them. In one of the light screens of the formations, Duan Iyun sat cross-legged with her palms facing each other. There was a dark golden stone the size of a walnut in her hands. Strands of bright golden spiritual light were constantly gushing out of the stone and being absorbed into her body. Martial Uncle Huang has the demonic gold body. The metal attribute magic power that he cultivates has an amazing restraining effect on demonic power. That's why he can block the demonic qi and blood. Although my magic power is sharper than Martial Uncle's, there is still a gap in terms of suppressing the demonic attribute. Only with the help of the sharp power of the 7th metal stone can I temporarily strengthen the metal attribute magic power in my body to an extremely pure state. As the thought flashed through her mind, Duan Yun's casting speed gradually increased. Her expression gradually became a little painful, and the black clothes she wore fluttered without wind. Qi. Suddenly, an invisible sword qi that exuded a terrifying aura tore her sleeves and shot out from her arm. The next moment, the white and tender skin on her forearm also cracked open a deep flesh wound that exposed the bone. This sword qi seemed to have a head. Countless sword qi gushed out from her skin one after another. Fortunately, they were still under Duan Iyun's control. After flying a few feet away from her body, they stopped and then slowly rolled back. Her body was like a sword sheath, restraining these sword qi. The terrifying aura of the magic power of the sword gradually disappeared, but her body shook more violently. Inch by inch, her skin cracked open one after another. The sharp power of the 7th metal stone is a treasure that can only be absorbed by a sword cultivator in the middle and late nascent soul stage. I can barely refine it by relying on my sore bones, but I can't support it for too long. The sharpness of my bone magic power is no less than that of a sword cultivator in the middle nascent soul stage. I'd like to see if the demonic qi and blood can swallow this ultimate metal attribute magic power. Duan Iyun's expression became ferocious. A greedy, demonic qi gushed out from her body. Her body, which was badly mutilated by the sword qi, began to shrink. The tattered black clothes gradually turned into strips of cloth and slid down from her body, revealing a slightly trembling, pale, golden human skeleton. Zhao Qiming lay in the deepest part of the cave in the formation shield. He had already turned into a human skeleton that exuded 5 kinds of luster. The torso bones and skull were pale green. His left and right arms were exuding red and blue. As for the bones of his legs, they were flashing pale gold and earthy yellow. After an unknown period of time, these different bone areas gushed out 5-colored mist. They began to blend with each other and soon turned into a 5-colored light mist, clinging to the surface of the bones. The temporary fusion of the 5 kinds of poison magic power formed in a short period of time. I'm afraid it's no less than the chaotic power that the Pavilion Master said. Zhao Qiming, as the second senior brother of the current generation of body cultivators, naturally knew the 5 elements body refining technique that Lu Kuan taught to Gao Yong. That technique was to cultivate the 5 elements chaotic magic power, so as to compete with the demonic chi and blood power. He had 3 spiritual roots of water, fire, and wood. When he entered the bone treasure stage with the poisonous wood refining technique, the attributes of his bones had already been fixed. It was almost impossible to cultivate the 5 elements chaotic magic power. After many years of research with many senior and junior brothers, Zhao Qiming found a compromise. The whole torso, namely the skull, torso bones, shoulder blades, and pelvis, remained the same as the poisonous wood attribute. The 4 limbs bones were washed with the demonic chi and blood power. The arms were turned into the fire and water attributes, respectively. As for the legs, the kneecaps were refined with the tool spiritual root technique to form the metal and earth attribute spiritual roots, and the leg bones were turned into the metal and earth attributes. Then, the 4 kinds of poison magic power were cultivated in the bones of the 4 limbs. With the help of the 5 elements technique, the poison was used as the joint point to fuse them together and temporarily transform them into the 5 elements poisonous magic power. The 2 ancestors of the Zhao family fell on the path of body refining. They used their flesh and blood to pave the way for the future disciples. I, Zhao Qiming, must succeed in breaking through. I will comfort the 2 ancestors of the Zhao family who passed away. The depths of the skeleton that was shrouded in the 5-colored poisonous fog emitted a resolute, divine soul fluctuation. In the last formation, Li Qianfeng's naked body was lying on the ground quietly. He recalled the cultivation journey in his heart. He was different from the other disciples of the bone treasure stage. He walked a special path, the demonic body refining technique. The bones that were nurtured in his body were not magic treasures, but demonic treasures. He did not cultivate the demonic blood bone refining technique. He used the special energy produced by the demonic arm to refine his bones. Over the years, Li Qianfeng discovered something special about the demonic chi and blood power. It devoured the immortal cultivator's golden core and destroyed it, producing a kind of destructive energy to refine the flesh and bones. But if it was the demonic cultivator's demonic golden core, it would produce another kind of positive energy for the demonic bones. This kind of energy nourished the bones beyond imagination. These 2 methods were like the 2 stages of cultivation of the ordinary bone treasure stage body cultivators. The demonic blood bone refining technique refined the bones, and the magic power nourished the bones. The purer the demonic pill, the better the nourishment effect. According to Lu Kuan's judgment, this special energy was likely the energy of the ancient demon race. It was the demonic energy that truly refined the flesh. In the process of the body refining pavilion's territory development, Li Qianfeng and Dugi Yiming had been running on the front line of the killing. They obtained a large number of golden cores, and their cultivation speed was astonishing. They were the first to enter the bone treasure stage. Even so, the risk of him breaking through to the bone transformation stage was far greater than that of other body cultivators. First of all, his body cultivated demonic energy. His bones were also demonic. Although this could make the demonic chi and blood power refine the bone treasure faster, this evil energy was also easier to devour the demonic bones and demonic bone power. Secondly, there was the problem of the demonic energy. After other body cultivators succeeded in refining their own bodies, the demonic energy of the demonic bones and demonic chi and blood power will be half fused together, forming the demonic energy unique to the bone transformation stage body cultivators. In his body, there was the same source of energy. If the demonic chi and blood power refined the bone treasure and fused with the demonic bone power, it might produce an even stronger demonic chi and blood power. When the source power of the flesh was produced, it might be the time when the bones died. Li Qianfeng raised his right arm and looked at the withered arm. He whispered in his heart, "The only opportunity is on this demonic arm. The demonic arm is not a part of the body. It is a refined dead object. The demonic chi and blood power covet my body, but has no intention of devouring the demonic arm. If the source power of the flesh is successfully produced, I must immediately force the demonic chi and blood power into the demonic arm. This is the only way to ensure the preservation of the bone treasure without any damage. Thinking of this, his skin suddenly turned blood red. A layer of faintly discernible flame appeared outside his body, and the surrounding temperature suddenly rose. If it wasn't for the yuan-yang demonic fire left by martial Ant Yu Xian, even if I, Li Qianfeng, cultivated the blood thought, I wouldn't have the slightest confidence to dispel the demonic qi and blood power. This layer of flame was the yuan-yang demonic fire left behind after Yu Xian's failed breakthrough. Li Qianfeng did not use demonic qi to refine it. Instead, he asked several nascent soul stage seniors of the body, refining pavilion, to use refining techniques to inject the demonic fire into the demonic bone. He learned the lesson of the seniors and did not let the deviant fire participate in self-refining. Instead, he used it as a trump card to sneak attack the demonic chi and blood power at the critical moment. When the source power of the flesh was produced, he had to use the deviant fire to force the demonic chi and blood power into the demonic arm. As long as the bone treasure was not damaged, the body would be intact. I don't know what will happen to the body if I break through like this. Li Qianfeng was amazed by the pavilion master. He was the most suitable person in this place to isolate the heavenly tribulation. Because the path he took was blocked, his body, after producing source power, was likely to be a skeleton. If he was in the outside world, it would be too risky to hastily resist the heavenly tribulation in this state. But in the Yuan's secret realm, he had enough time to prepare. He still could not imagine what kind of effect the energy bestowed by the heavenly tribulation would have on a body refining demonic cultivator like him. Although the future was full of unknowns, Li Qianfeng's fighting spirit was incomparably high. The pavilion master is the front wave of the body refining river, constantly crashing into the unknown wasteland. We, the disciples of the later wave, cannot cultivate peacefully under his protection. Instead, we must use his momentum to expand the river behind us. Only when the disciples of the later wave continue to expand can the body refining river become a wide river, or even a vast ocean. Come, blood power and demonic qi. Let's see if you will devour me, or if I, Li Qianfeng, will succeed in breaking through. Li Qianfeng's eyes flashed with a blood-red light. An incomparably vigorous demonic qi gushed out from the shriveled right demonic arm. The full body quickly shrank and gradually turned into a dark red skeleton. Chapter 1193. At the center of the second level of the secret realm, the disciples of the blood-refining sect and the yin-yang sect had gathered in the air above a mountain range filled with dense demonic qi. They conversed with one another as they dodged their respective restrictions. Does that mean the phenomenon in the sky has something to do with the body refining pavilion? Dai Ming, the leader of the yin-yang sect, asked. Lei Batian was a little hesitant. That's just my guess. After all, Dugi Yiming and the others seem to be guarding the demonic lava cave. They clearly know what's going on inside. Dai Ming's brows furrowed. Regardless, the body refining pavilion is not something we can afford to offend. Dugi Yiming may not be a body cultivator, but he's clearly very powerful since he's on par with that monster Li Qianfeng. You've made the right decision. Lei Batian sighed. We all have missions to complete. Let's find a chaotic valley first. We'll probably have to spend a lot of time using the mountain earth conveyor technique to dig it out of the ground. Dai Ming looked at the surrounding mountains and rivers and compared them to his memories from 300 years ago. We're already very close. The mountains and rivers within several dozen kilometers of the chaotic valley have all collapsed. It's very easy to identify. Huh? Isn't it just up ahead? Wait, something's not right. His spiritual sense seemed to have discovered something, and a surprised expression appeared on his face. We've arrived at the chaotic valley. Wait, why is this an abyss? As they flew over a mountain, the scenery in the distance gradually entered their eyes. This was an extremely vast abyss. Looking from afar, it spanned several dozen kilometers. At this point, the incomplete restrictions in the sky became even more concentrated. Everyone had no choice but to slow down. They arrived at the edge of the abyss and discovered that it was filled with a large amount of faint red mist. It seemed to have the effect of obstructing spiritual sense, preventing them from probing further. Dai Ming looked at the abyss before turning to the surrounding mountains. He couldn't help but say, "I remember it clearly. This is definitely the location of the chaotic valley. 300 years ago, the restrictions here malfunctioned, causing the chaotic valley to sink into the ground and be buried by large amounts of rocks. How did it become an abyss now?" Lei Batian was also aware of the chaotic valley situation. There are so many incomplete restrictions in the air above this abyss. Perhaps the restrictions in the chaotic valley underwent a second change, and the terrifying power contained within them erupted all at once, forming this abyss. There are few mystic realms in the chaotic valley that are most likely at the bottom of this abyss. However, this red mist looks a little strange. Do you have any impression of it, fellow Taoist Dai? Dai Ming frowned and said, "From what I remember, the Chaos Valley doesn't have any red mist restrictions, but this aura is a little familiar." As he spoke, he waved his hand and shot out a beam of demonic light. It rolled up a ball of faint red mist not far away and floated in front of him. This mass of red mist seemed to have some intelligence and wanted to rush out of the demonic light. A slight sizzling sound came from it, but unfortunately, the demonic light was extremely dense and the corrosion speed was very slow. It has the property of corroding magic power, but its power is limited. Even a core formation middle stage magic power barrier can resist it. Dai Ming sensed the mist carefully and seemed to think of something. His expression changed slightly as he said, "This mist contains the aura of lifeblood. Could this mist be related to the demonic beast garden?" Lei Batian also absorbed a ball of red mist and said in surprise, "Magical beast garden? Is it also in the chaotic valley? Our sect's Jade Slips didn't mention this place." Dai Ming took a deep breath and said slowly, "Back then, the chaotic valley required multiple Yuan jade pendants to open. The relationship between our sects wasn't as harmonious as it is now, so we entered the chaotic valley separately. That layer of restriction was the same as the entrance to the Yuan mystic realm. After entering, we were separated into different areas. The Yin-Yang sect was teleported to a forest called the Demonic Beast Garden." He recalled what happened back then, and there was a hint of fear in his eyes. A large number of core formation stage deformed demonic beasts lived there. Although they had the bodies of wild beasts, part of their bodies was that of humans. It was very strange. These deformed demonic beasts had low intelligence and fought based on their instincts. They didn't know how to use any innate spells. Their abilities were all based on their physical bodies. Their strength and defense were astonishing. When facing a level 5 demonic lizard, we had to attack it several times with our Dharma treasures before we could shatter its scales. Its physical body was stronger than that of normal demonic beasts. He paused for a moment before continuing. They were also proficient in breath concealment techniques. They surrounded us unknowingly. The demonic lizard leaders had stronger physical bodies. Fortunately, the human parts of their bodies had low defense and low intelligence. We were scared but not in danger. Speaking of this, he looked at the red mist in front of him and said, "After killing a few demonic beasts, we discovered that the demonic cores in their bodies also contained dense blood essence power apart from demonic power. It was very similar to this mist." He murmured, "Although we don't know where this red mist came from, we can tell that the restriction of the demonic beast garden in the chaotic valley has lost its effect. Those deformed demonic beasts are very likely to be active in the abyss below." Lei Batian pondered for a moment and said, "According to what you said, these deformed demonic beasts have obvious weaknesses. They shouldn't be difficult to deal with." But looking at your expression, Dai Ming smiled bitterly and said, Those demon crocodiles were only the first wave of demon beasts we encountered. They scattered in the middle of the battle. Then came 8 apes. No, 8 men. Their bodies were also made up of human body parts. 8 men? Dai Ming nodded. The fear in his eyes deepened. These 8 men's bodies are even more terrifying. That's not all. They also have a strange divine ability that allows them to penetrate demonic power barriers and directly injure the body. As soon as the two sides started fighting, we were at a disadvantage. If it weren't for the Divine Lord activating the power of his nascent soul and blocking their strange divine ability, our bodies would have been shattered. Even so, 2 of our disciples were killed. Fortunately, those 8 men didn't chase after us. That's how we managed to escape. The core formation demonic cultivators here all knew who the Divine Lord Dai Ming mentioned was. Even such a powerhouse with the power of his nascent soul wasn't a match for those 8 men. It was clear how terrifying those 8 men were. For a moment, everyone fell silent. After a while, Dai Ming laughed at himself and said, "I almost forgot. The situation is different now. With our 2 sects working together, we are more than twice as strong as before. If we encounter those 8 men, as long as we activate the power of our nascent soul in time, we can definitely fight them." Lei Baishan's expression relaxed when he heard this. He nodded and said, "That's right. The situation is different now. The blood refining sect and the Yin-Yang sect have already formed an alliance. If we move together, the risk will naturally be reduced to the lowest. Our sect has a nascent soul-level defensive secret technique. We will be responsible for defense. The demonic arts pavilion you're looking for is next to the devil refining cave. When we find it, we will move separately." "All right, let's do that." After that, the demonic cultivators discussed for a while. The 20 people from the 2 sects formed a square formation. The 8 blood refining sect disciples were responsible for defense and were ready to activate their nascent soul-level defensive techniques at any time. The Yin-Yang sect disciples used their divine sense to scout the surroundings in pairs to prevent being ambushed by those strange demonic beasts. The 4 leaders with nascent soul-level defensive techniques were on alert at all times. Next, everyone was wrapped in a thick layer of defensive spiritual light and flew into the red mist. Chapter 1194. In the middle region of the state of Qi, outside the entrance of the Yuan secret realm, the remaining nascent soul cultivators were looking up at the sky. The originally cloudless sky was now covered with a large patch of dark clouds, causing the entire area to become extremely dark. However, these dark clouds seemed to have lost some sort of cohesion, and the dark clouds were gradually dissipating. Even so, the destructive power emitted from them still shocked the people below. It's a bit like the lightning tribulation, but its aura is much more terrifying. It's facing the Yuan secret realm. Could it be that some top-level demon beast has broken through to the 8th grade in the secret realm? Qian Jingshan muttered. Su Junwen floated beside him and frowned. According to what I know, demonic beasts that break through to the 8th grade do not have the ability to transform into human form. I'm afraid that demonic beasts cannot cultivate in the demonic Qi environment in the secret realm. Qian Jingshan shook his head. Although there are many purebred demonic beasts in the secret realm, there's still many demonic beasts that can trigger the lightning tribulation. It's a pity that the Yuan secret realm seems to be able to isolate the lightning tribulation. Without the baptism of the lightning tribulation, demonic beasts cannot truly break through. Su Junwen sighed. This lightning tribulation seems to be so powerful. That demonic beast must have a shocking aptitude. What a pity. On the other side of the secret realm's entrance, Lu Kuan and Huang Xiaoyan floated in midair. They looked at the lightning tribulation clouds that were gradually dissipating. Although they were expressionless, they were extremely excited deep in their hearts. The body cultivators had already entered the secret realm for more than a month, and the aura of the lightning tribulation clouds was even stronger than that of Huang Xiaoyan and the rest. It was obviously triggered by Xiao Jin's successful breakthrough. Just as Lu Kuan had deduced, the Yuan secret realm could isolate the lightning tribulation. They were very clear about what this meant to the body refining pavilion. If a body cultivator who had completed his bone treasure broke through in the Yuan secret realm, it was equivalent to delaying the lightning tribulation for a year. During this year, as long as he did not fully activate his demonic energy, he would have sufficient time to familiarize himself with the origin power of his physical body and imitate the body cultivator's battle techniques. After leaving the secret realm, the chances of successfully transcending the tribulation would greatly increase. In other words, the Yuan secret realm was a holy land for body cultivators to transcend the tribulation. Lu Kuan raised his head and looked at the dissipating dark clouds. He already had a plan in mind. Anything that could increase the number of people in the bone transformation stage was something that the body refining pavilion was determined to obtain. After 300 years, there would be no need for outsiders to participate in this secret realm. Xiao Jin has successfully broken through. Now it's up to the other three little fellows. He muttered a few words in his heart before he immersed his mind back into his physical body. It had been more than 80 years since Lu Kuan had returned to the southwest. In these years, he had spent almost all of his time in seclusion, and his cultivation had progressed at an unimaginable speed. Originally, Lu Kuan had thought that the amount of life force an internal organ could hold was only the total amount of the body at that time. As one's life force increased, the amount of life force an internal organ could hold would gradually decrease to 90%, 80%, and eventually 50%. But who would have known that 100% of internal organ strength was proportional? In other words, no matter how much his life force increased, his internal organs would still be able to hold it all. This led to the fact that the larger the reserve of life force, the faster his cultivation speed would be. Moreover, this kind of energy was increased by absorbing blood essence. As the concentration of blood essence increased in the middle stage of bone transformation, the cultivation efficiency could not be compared to before. Lu Kuan had cultivated his life force to the limit more than 10 years ago. The amount of life force he could store had doubled. On the other hand, the strength of his blood had increased. It had only reached its limit a year ago. Now his blood was like a surging tide, rushing through his blood vessels. It could even make the roaring sound of a tsunami. Unlike the changes in muscle strength at the early stage of bone transformation, the concentration of his blood was twice as high. From these aspects, Lu Kuan had already reached the peak of the middle stage of bone transformation. Although his strength didn't increase by much and his blood couldn't store magic energy, his continuous fighting strength had greatly increased. If he overdrew his internal organs, he could even use the Demon Dragon Blade to its maximum power twice. At the same time, the continuous defensive power of his body was even more amazing. When facing a spirit-severing stage cultivator again, Lu Kuan's confidence had increased by a lot. The opportunity for blood cultivation is in the tendons, but the breakthrough point for transforming into bones is in the joints of the whole body. The more than 200 bones in the human body were all connected through joints. However, some are dynamic joints and some are static joints. There is a layer of cartilage between these joints to reduce friction between them. The cartilage was much stronger than the dense and loose bones. It was the most suitable entry point for blood to transform bones. For blood to transform into bones, it was impossible to directly transform it into the dense and hard bones. It had to penetrate through the joints and then transform through the transformation method he comprehended from the devil-ape transformation. If successful, the blood inside the bones would gradually transition from the relatively soft cancellous bone to the hard and dense bone to achieve the expansion of the bones. According to Lu Kuan's deduction, after the breakthrough, the blood could even temporarily grow bone spurs with the joints of the bones as nodes. Although I have a clear idea, my bones are too strong, Lu Kuan showed a bit of helplessness. He tried to break through not long ago, but it ended in failure. The blood smoothly entered the bones from the joints, but in the process of transforming the bones, it was hindered by the silver dragon meteorite in the bones. This material increased the hardness of the bone treasure, but in the process of transforming the bones, it crushed the latter, causing new bones to be unable to form. Lu Kuan was distressed. The Silver Dragon meteorite allowed him to use Transcendence World at the middle stage of bone transformation, increasing the defense of his bones. Although it increased his fighting strength, it also greatly increased the difficulty of breaking through. If the blood could be strengthened by 20%, it might be able to break through the compression of the Silver Dragon meteorite and grow new bones. But now, even if I cultivate in the state of the Devil Ape transformation, the blood can't be strengthened at all. With the body as one, the blood refers to the strength of my bones. The Silver Dragon meteorite didn't spread to the blood. The only thing I could do now is to find a way to use external forces to increase the strength of the blood. But what can strengthen the blood? Lu Kuan floated in the air, lost in thought. Time slowly passed. After about half a month, a thunderclap in the sky awakened everyone at the entrance of the mystic realm. At the same time, it also interrupted Lu Kuan's thoughts. A tribulation cloud that was much smaller than before slowly gathered in the sky above the mystic realm. Another disciple has succeeded. Just as this sentence appeared in his heart, 2 more thunderclaps sounded in the sky. A few thunderclaps were incessant. The restriction at the entrance of the Yuan mystic realm flashed with a bright silver light. A lot of demonic chi was forced out by the power of the tribulation cloud and gathered in the sky. Lu Kuan saw this scene and was stunned for a moment. Then his eyes flashed with surprise. Good guys, all 3 of them succeeded. Huang Xiaoyan beside him was so excited that his body trembled. With the aptitude of these 3 disciples, plus more than 9 months of buffer time, the probability of passing the tribulation was very high. This meant that the body refining pavilion would soon have 3 more bone transformation body cultivators. Lu Kuan's lips moved slightly, and he sent a message with his consciousness. Xiaoyun, hurry back to the body refining pavilion now and ask Brother Yu and Fairy Fang Yuan to come. When these disciples leave the mystic realm, the tribulation will come again. We will guard them together. Yes, Master. Huang Xiaoyun couldn't hide his excitement. The demonic chi in his body surged, and he directly turned into a sword light, shooting toward the south. The strange movement of the tribulation lightning in the sky and the strange behavior of the 2 people in the body refining pavilion attracted the attention of Qian Jingshan and Su Junwen. They looked at each other and couldn't help but fly toward Lu Kuan. Chapter 1195. In a lava cave, Xiao Jin, Duan Yiyun, and Zhao Qiming stood in a circle, looking at the figure lying on the ground. Li Qianfeng's skinny right demonic arm had swelled several times. Huge lumps of muscle were trembling on it, looking abnormally ferocious. His once strong body had turned into a bag of bones. There was a faint layer of invisible force field on his skin. If one didn't look carefully, they wouldn't be able to notice it. Suddenly, a strong blood chi rolled around the joints of his right arm. Countless small snakes drilled out of the demonic arm and poured into the withered body. As time passed, muscles gradually appeared, and his body slowly filled up. At the same time, the invisible force field on the surface of his skin also spread out. 1 inch, 2 inches, 5 inches, 8 inches. It grew until it reached 1 foot and 2 inches before stopping. However, this layer of force field didn't appear on the demonic arm. At the same time, his body stopped expanding. Although it was much stronger, it was still thin and weak compared to before. After a while, Li Qianfeng opened his eyes. His body spun and floated in the air. His eyes flashed with relief. The adjustment is finally over. This state should be fine. Zhao Qiming looked at Li Qianfeng's thin and weak body and said with some worry, "Senior brother, there seems to be something wrong with your current physical body. The range of your passive origin energy field is more than a foot, which is equivalent to using all your origin energy. Won't this damage your bone treasure?" Like Li Qianfeng, he had a 4-star physique. The maximum range of his source force field was a little more than 1 foot. In order to prevent his demon energy from going out of control, he didn't use his demon energy at full power and maintained the source force field within 6 inches. Don't worry, there won't be a problem. Li Qianfeng sighed. When I really broke through, I discovered the difference between a demonic body cultivation technique and an orthodox body cultivation technique. Hearing this, not to mention Duan Yiyun and Zhao Qiming, even Xiao Jin's 4 ears perked up. Their faces were full of curiosity. Li Qianfeng felt the energy in his body and said slowly, "The moment the physical body's source strength was formed, the demonic energy in my blood, qi, merged with the demonic energy in my bones as predicted. Who knew that demonic energy would be born at this time? No, it should be called true demonic energy." True demonic energy? Is senior apprentice brother talking about the energy produced by the devil arm swallowing the devil core? Li Qianfeng first nodded, then shook his head. After organizing his thoughts, he said, "Pavilion Master once told me that the ancient demon race's cultivation system is actually similar to our human races. There are demon cores and demon infants. The reason why their bodies are so strong is because of the special power technique, which produces a kind of special energy wandering in the flesh and blood, which can continuously enhance the physical strength of the body. It is called demon energy by the ancient Yuan school. Every demon is equivalent to a dual cultivator of body and energy. At the same level, immortal cultivators are naturally no match for them. Now it seems that my body produces this kind of energy. It seems to be even purer than the demon races. After a traditional body cultivator enters the bone transformation stage, they use the power of destruction to temper their body. Body refining demon arts use the relatively gentle energy of demon energy to enhance their strength. Zhao Qiming looked at Li Qianfeng's thin body and deformed devil arm and couldn't help but ask, "So, this is very good for the body, but senior apprentice brother only transferred back half of the demonic energy. Is there some kind of flaw in this demonic energy?" Li Qianfeng smiled wryly and said, "Although it has a significant effect in enhancing the body, it is an unusually delicious food for the demonic energy of blood and blood. With its blessing, the energy level of the demonic energy of blood and blood will be greatly enhanced in a short time. If I didn't burst out with all the Yuan Yang devil fire and squeeze it into the devil arm in one breath, I'm afraid this evil energy would have been enhanced to a terrifying level and devoured all the demon bones in my body. But the source power of the body needs a mixture of demonic energy of blood and demonic energy of bones to be continuously stimulated. So, I tried to release demonic energy of blood and blood from the devil arm. But this evil energy can't produce demonic energy with demonic energy of bones if it is less than half. As for the source power of the body, it seems that it only needs half of demonic energy of blood and blood to be fully exerted. It should be because the two energy attributes are of the same origin and the degree of fusion is much higher than yours." As he spoke, a layer of blood-red light film appeared on the surface of his body. Stream-like lines flowed endlessly within a foot of his body. Duan Yi was pleasantly surprised and said, "Doesn't that mean that senior brother can now exert the true strength of a bone transformation stage body cultivator?" Li Qianfeng shook his head and sighed. The demonic energy of blood and blood cultivated by body refining demonic arts is quite special. The demonic energy of blood and blood that is forced away also takes away half of the essence of the flesh. Although I can fully exert my source power battle skills, my physical strength is only 250 kilograms. It is the same as when my bone treasure was completed. My real combat strength is not as good as yours. My physical strength has been reduced by half," Zhao Qiming murmured. After he and Duan Yiyun broke through, their physical strength directly skyrocketed from 250 kilograms to 500,000 kilograms. Xiao Jin's bloodline aptitude was strong, reaching 600,000 kilograms. When a normal body cultivator entered the bone transformation stage, their physical strength was at the level of 500,000 kilograms. In other words, Li Qianfeng could only enter the strongest state by releasing all of his demonic energy of blood and blood. But this time, he was faced with the threat of demonic energy of blood and blood. He said with some worry, "Then, senior brother's tribulation." Li Qianfeng raised his ferocious and thick demonic arm and said, "When I transcend the tribulation, I will naturally release the remaining half of my demonic energy of blood and blood, allowing my physical strength and source power to enter the peak state." Speaking of this, his expression became dignified. The demonic bone that the Yuan-Yang demonic fire resides in has been refined, and it is fully suppressing the demonic energy of blood and blood. There are already signs of it being refined, and there is no way to force out the demonic energy of blood and blood a second time. Once you release the energy in the demonic arm, there is no turning back. The longer this state, the easier it is for the demonic energy of blood and blood to devour the demonic bone. The only hope of solving this problem is the life force bestowed by the heavenly tribulation thunder. Life force, Li Qianfeng said. Pavilion Master said that the bone transformation stage body cultivator broke some kind of balance between heaven and earth, so the heavenly tribulation thunder sent down to destroy them. But in the dark, there will be a trace of life left. The worldly liquid bestowed by the monster transformation tribulation is the energy that stabilizes the dantian and meridians when they transform into human form. The life force helps the body cultivator stabilize the hidden danger of the demonic energy eruption. For body refinement demonic arts cultivators, if the life force really contains life force, then it can definitely maintain the balance between the demonic energy of blood and the demonic energy of bones. When the others heard this, they all fell silent. The bone transformation stage was indeed the greatest obstacle for body cultivators. If a normal body cultivator failed to transcend the tribulation, their bones would be destroyed by the violent destructive power. If a body refinement demonic art cultivator failed, their physical body would be swallowed by the greatly increased demonic energy of blood and blood, and not even their bones would be left. If others helped to break the tribulation thunder, they would lose the infusion of life force and die. They could only rely on their own strength. Li Qianfeng took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "For this trip to the Yuan secret realm, Pavilion Master has created the best conditions for us to break through. We have a great chance." When the other two body cultivators heard this, they clenched their fists at the same time. Xiao Jin looked at the three disciples who were on the verge of breaking through and excitedly rubbed its monkey hands. It spoke in a clear and urgent voice. "Let's hurry. That old zombie Hong Yintian has a body of origin power. It's a good opportunity for us to practice. Only through real combat can we quickly improve our body cultivator battle techniques." "Yes, Martial Uncle Gene. The Chaos Valley isn't far from here. We'll be there soon. Senior Hong is sealed at the bottom of the Chaos Valley. It might be a little troublesome for us to open the seal. After all, the cultivation method that Pavilion Master took from the Yin-Yang sect requires the power of a nascent soul to activate." "Haha, don't worry. I heard that the blood-refining sect will be going to the Chaos Valley with the Yin-Yang sect. We could just force them to open the seal." That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.